was a comment that was made on Facebook the other day about being a submissive woman. They were saying that a submissive woman controls her man, and I agree with that. I think until we begin to talk in honesty and transparency and stop pandering to both sides, especially to the sisters, because there is so much entitlement, and because men have been quiet for so long, and it's been the men that has been quiet were the type of men that y'all really need to be listening to. The men that doing the most talking ain't the ones, they don't have nothing to say anyway.
What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man, holding it down for Kandid Konvos. Definitely check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. People today, they lazy. Ain't nobody trying to put in no work. If stuff start getting a little rough in the relationship or in the marriage, ain't nobody trying to fix nothing. Like, I mean, that's how people's mindsets are today. Yeah, but that's how I know that folks don't truly understand what marriage was about, because they tap out way too easy. Yeah, you see people fight harder for a job, like they can't go get another one of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, she's talking about these guys coming to these foreign countries and sourcing out these foreign women because they possess these character traits. Yep, they're more cooperative when it comes to a man, or they're more cooperative when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. They're more, nurturing forward when it comes to a relationship. They're more I don't even want to use the word soft, but I'll use the word soft. They're softer when it comes to, these relationships and interactions with men and so forth. And like I said, we definitely got to be honest. We see a difference, right? We see a difference. And I think, Chloe and Tay made some good points earlier. A lot of this stuff is based around money over here in the West. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Coco and Vince on deck. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on with you, Vince? What's going on with you, man? Appreciate everybody checking in with us tonight. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Likes are free. Smash that like button. Also hit that share as well. Man, hit that subscribe as well, man. Let's say shout out to YouTube in the building. Shout out to Facebook in the building. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting the platform as we continue to move forward and grow. We appreciate you guys holding us down and supporting what we do. All right, hold on. Let me get my little layout together. Stuff moving around. All right, cool. All right, let me get into this real quick. Got JR just hopped on with us as well. Let me get into this real quick. Here's a link to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. If you're coming to an Apple device, you got to use Safari. But yeah, throw this in your browser, join us on the panel. We always encourage folks to keep the camera on, but You know, if you need to, you can come off cam if you need to. But in order to come up on the panel with us, you got to come on cam for a minute so we can verify that it's you. So we ain't got no trolling going on. So here's a link to do that right here in the video feed. We also had this in the chat feeds as well. So you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook. Or you can send us a message. We'll get it to you that way as well. Also, while I got everybody listening, man, definitely check out Kandid Reactions on YouTube. At Kandid Reactions on YouTube. Definitely check that out. That's one of our additional platforms. So definitely go check that out at Kandid Reactions on YouTube. All right, let me see what we got checking in so far. Let's see. Kenyatta in the building. She said, Happy Wednesday. What's going on, Kenyatta? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight. Be safe in that wind. I heard it's supposed to get windy tonight. Be safe over there. See, my guy Donovan, he said, what up, what's up? What's going on, Donovan? Appreciate you joining us tonight as well, brother. Appreciate you. Let's see, Nicole in the building. What's going on, Nicole? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight as well. All right. Throw that link back up for a hot. Hold on, did I lose it? I got stuff dropping. All right, I'll let that float up there for a little bit as we get to the combo. Okay, we'll see, we got Beatbox that hopped on. What's going on with you? JR on here as well. Vince, Coco. So we got almost full panel. Anybody need this link, let me know. I'll put it back up if you need it. But let's say once again, it's in the chat feed. So I'm going to drop this down for a minute. All right. So we got an interesting one tonight, man. So tonight we are talking, why are black people at the bottom? You run that back. Why are black people at the bottom? All right. So we talk about, you know, trajectories on this show. We talk about moving us in a better direction. I know a lot of times we talk relationships, but this one is interesting. Yeah, this one came my way. Yeah, it came my way. So we're gonna go and get into it. I think it's a worthy conversation. It might get a little hot, but you know, we're gonna see how this goes. My guy Herschel just hopped on as well. What's going on with you, brother? All right, yeah, we're gonna get on into it. So we'll see how this goes.
You guys want to hear me, but I think the panel might not like me very much.
I think that if it comes from a genuine place, like if you know the history.
Oh, it's definitely genuine. It's definitely genuine.
Right. But knowledge would never troll. Genuine.
I would never troll you, and I would never say something just to make people offended. Although people think I do say that, it's not true. I don't say things just to offend people on purpose.
Oh, sure.
But I was invited
I think you program us to look for it when you premise it. I don't think they want to hear what I'm going to say. And everybody's like,
I'm scared because I'm scared. McPherson,
no, speak your mind.
Everybody's like, when you get ready to say, when you say that, everybody get like, you know what I'm saying?
I know. You're right.
Just let it out. You know what I mean?
I'm just scared. I'm scared because as soon as because I know what I'm going to get is you're not black. You can't say that. But I'm here. And as an outsider looking in, I preface it with that as an outsider looking in. I understand I'm not in but JR has exposed me to a lot. Like since me and JR have known each other, he has shared with me so much black culture. He shared with me Jefferson show, Cosby, and R. Kelly, and what else did you give me, JR? You gave me a few things, but he gave me some things so I wouldn't be so ignorant.
What R. Kelly y'all watch?
Yeah, you R. Kelly out of all the niggas you could.
But he sent me things so I wouldn't be so ignorant. He's like, don't be so ignorant. So but JR has helped me a lot. And anyway, so what I wanted to say was, me with my relationship with you fine people, and then hearing what other cultures say, because I'll tell you guys what other cultures say, and I'll be honest with you, because who's going to stop me right now from saying it? I'll be honest with you guys. The majority of other cultures that I talk to say that the black peoples are just weak, whiny, lazy, criminal mind. As for the women are concerned, loose, easy, and that's just what a lot of them say. But the reason that they say that is because what they see is something that's they don't know the history of the Black community, of course. They don't know the history. So they see it as people coming here and just seeing, oh, you guys have been here for many generations and you still haven't made something more of yourselves. When we come here and in 2 generations, we dominate you guys, then we're the ones who are like your bosses. But I understand why. I do understand why. And I understand that because a lot of immigrant families, when they come, it's easier for them to get certain loans and so on and so forth. So I do understand that. I understand that there's history behind that as well. But what I'm saying is, after JR had showed me all the history and showed me a lot of the shows and so on, and then I studied for myself the history, I saw that Black people were so strong and so they made it. Out of slavery, they rose from the ashes and they did so much. And then you see what we have today. And what we have today is nothing compared to what I saw in the past generations of Black people. I think that's what Casey is talking about. And that's why when she was talking, I was nodding along, but I don't know if I should. But coming from my perspective as an outsider, when we see that Black people constantly today, not even back then, but today constantly say slavery, 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 and then they look for the root to go all the way back to slavery, it's almost as if I want to ask you guys, what other community uses trauma that happened to their community from way back when? We have cultures today that have had traumatic events happen to them way more, what is it called? Closer to the present than slavery. Slavery 400 years ago. Here we have, or is it 400 years ago? How long was it? No, that was 200 years ago. And then it lasted 400 years, right? Lasted 400 years, stopped 200 years, about 200 years ago, or 100 something. But yeah. So when you see that, we see the Jewish people, of course, they have their thing that happened to them. Then you see the Slavic people who the word slave comes from Slavic people. And you don't see them saying like, we have this history of slavery, even though the word slave comes from the Slavic people. But you don't see them today saying that their culture has this slavery ingrained genetic code because they were slaves in the past. You don't see the Romans saying the same thing. You don't see any other group of people saying that except Black people. So this is the reason why we see it as weakness, but it could be ignorance as well.
Amir, the problem is that's false. There's several places in this world where there's conflicts that's been going on for hundreds of years that they ain't letting up on. The difference is that our conflict is often overlooked. We still have a conflict with this country. Just because it's not as violent as you see what happens in the Middle East or you see what happens in other countries, doesn't mean that we should be that we shouldn't speak on it.
Then leave. If the conflict is so bad, then leave. You can go to Liberia. Liberia is the
That's the thing, though. That same argument can be made about any conflict overseas. Why don't you just leave it?
No.
And they don't. Oh, no, wait. They don't leave. They fight for whatever they created. They fight for whatever they built. They fight for whatever they feel they are owed. They don't sit there and try to run away. And the thing is that I find it extremely disrespectful when people run from the conflicts in their country and then they run over here and then look at us while we're dealing with the conflicts in our country. They see us dealing with the conflicts in our country, then say, oh, what is wrong with y'all?
I don't see it as really dealing with it. I see it more like whining, complaining, victimizing. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm saying what I see.
Let me say something real fast. Okay, so slavery, so it's only 2 things, because I kind of agree with what you're saying a little bit. So slavery, for one, yes, happened 400 years ago, but Jim Crow happened just a few years ago. So it wasn't just over with slavery. It did continue. It just wasn't called slavery. Okay. So let's just make that very clear. But I get what you're saying. We have to take some responsibility for the way the world looks at us. Okay. Because one, we call ourselves hoes. We act like it. We're on TV. We have our cameras out acting like hoes sometimes. Okay. The things that we say is some hoish stuff that comes out of our mouths at times. Everything that she's saying, how they look at us is because we've done it to ourselves. Listen to our music. That's us talking about us. You understand? That's not another race talking about us. That's us saying it. And then we get mad when they see us that way when we're saying it about us.
How long has it been? I got a serious question.
So what I'm saying to you, and I'm not, let me just say this. I'm not taking away what you're saying, Sweeney, because I think that you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, how do we expect them to be serious about us when we're not serious about us, right? How do you expect us to move mountains?
All right, let me pause it there for a minute because it goes on for a little bit. So I want to have this conversation. I'm sure you know everybody saw the video. Listen, if you haven't already, hit that like button for us. Hit that like button for us. Shout out to Eva Wright in the building. She said, "Hey y'all, what's going on, Eva Wright?" Let's see. Shout out to Israelite 1865. Appreciate you joining us, holding us down on YouTube. He said lies right out the gate. All right. So yeah, I want to have this conversation. I think it is interesting. First of all, interesting video. Let's say shout out to the Lapeef Network. They made the cut tonight. So shout out to the Lapeef Network. Definitely check them out on YouTube. They drop some good content. But yeah, I want to have a conversation, right? So, you know, we titling the show tonight, Why Are Black People at the Bottom? You know, we heard what the young lady, I think her name was Amira, we heard what she said, and you know how some other folks look at us, view us, and all of these things. You know, Shan was just getting into, you know, some of the things that we do, you know, labeling ourselves certain names and, you know, the music and all of these things. So yeah, I want to have a conversation. What y'all think about what y'all just saw? Anybody in the comments, drop a comment as well. What do y'all think about what y'all just saw? Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? Different point of view on it, different perspective. Anybody, just come off mute, say what you want to say, because I know this one might be a little hot. Go ahead, Coco.
I'm just going to get the early thing off right away. I know that it's the low-hanging fruit. I know that it's the petty princess in me. I know that it's low, and I'm okay with that. But talking about Black women in that manner, while you have Black women on the show in front of you, while you're uplifting your culture and talking about how your culture came over and how does your culture end up being on top of us and end up dominating us, while you're wearing another woman ethnicity hair on your head, is crazy to me. Like, you sitting over there with a bust down talking about Black women and our culture, and you're taking from the culture as you're sitting there talking about the culture. That's crazy to me. Like, you literally sitting there with a full bust down wig, not even in your natural hair color, while talking about Black women. That's insane. The audacity. The audacity. While you're sitting on a Black man's platform talking about how Black people are lazy, per the conversations that you've had with others. Like, this is America. Like, I mean, the audacity, the nerve. And then to summarize our culture by the Jeffersons, R. Kelly, and the Cosby Show. That's crazy. That just goes to show you that you don't really know anything about Black culture while you come on a show to talk about Black culture. And don't get me wrong, while I do think sometimes having varied opinions can be nice, I think that when you approach these conversations as someone who lives outside of the community, you need to come to the conversation trying to understand, to bridge the gap, not come to the conversation to give your unwarranted and, you know, just completely uneducated, biased opinions. Because if I show up trying to tell you about your culture, you're not even going to allow it. You wouldn't even invite me to your platform. I wouldn't even be able to come. But, you know, we let everybody come. We welcome everybody. Maybe we should stop doing that. That's for one. But for two, you just showed how uneducated you were. Because for us as Black people, the disparities didn't stop once slavery was abolished. It didn't stop, right? Right here. Not only did we have to deal with Jim Crow, but we also had to deal with segregation. Now, we can argue back and forth whether segregation was actually good or bad. I have my opinions on that. However, even though Jim Crow is no longer a thing, really, the truth of the matter is if you are a Black person living in your experience here in this country, you know that there have been many times in your life, though you have never personally experienced slavery, where you have personally experienced discrimination. Where you have personally experienced discrimination in one form or another. Even the way the system is established, it's systemic. They just have systems in place now where it's not overt. So I think it's crazy that, I applaud the panel, the way they've handled it thus far in this conversation. I know there's more, and we'll get into the rest, but I just thought it was crazy, kind of how I'll land, but that's crazy to really be disparaging a culture that you are literally benefiting from.
That's real. Appreciate that right there. B-Box, it's on you, man.
Yeah. Just to go on what Coco's saying. It's weird that like with the guys, I don't know what his name was, but he literally said like, how are you going to talk about us needing to leave when a lot of you come here running away from things that your discrimination that you're running away from? Most people who are immigrants run away from either economic disparities, racial, ethnic disparities themselves. So when people come over here, and I mean, there's just so many things wrong with what you said. One, most Black people don't even live in the hood. I don't even know, like, most Black people live in the middle class and in the suburbs. I just don't even know, like, do you just hang out with Black people in the cities or just a city adjacent? Like Coco said, like, we dealt with slavery and then Jim Crow, and then we have vestiges of those things today. And then ironically, people like her when she was speaking, when situations of racial discrimination happen to them, then they want some sort of empathy and sympathy. Like, oh, well, this happened to me, so everybody should, feel sorry for me. I think Black people, especially nowadays, we're done with that. Like, if something happens to you, good luck. We're not trying to be your friend. We're not trying to, because, like she said, there are groups of people who think that Black people are this, and so. And never really met one, never really been around Black people, or it's just an ignorant thing. There's just ignorant statements, quite frankly. I'm not saying there aren't elements of truth, right? I'm not saying there are elements of truth of Black people not doing what they're supposed to do. But by and large, that's just not the case. All right. So when we have these discussions with other groups of people, I mean, we can get real uncomfortable if we want to do that. Like, we can go talk about everybody else's, like, stereotypes or whatever goofy things we want to do. Like, it just becomes stupid at that point. And she mentioned 3 things, like Coco said. Like, that's insane. I don't even know why they invited her up on there, to be honest. I think that was insane to me. So this is my opinion. I probably have more too, but I was just confused by the ignorance of the statements.
Okay, no, I got you. I appreciate that, man. Go ahead, Vince. If you want to say something, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think they picked the wrong person to have a comment about it, because it didn't seem like she had a lot of information. It seemed like that she went straight off the surface stuff. But to get to the point of why Black people are at the bottom, I'm a type of individual. I believe in personal responsibility. I believe in self-accountability above everything else. I don't believe in the victim train. I believe that we have adopted a culture that has not served us as Black people in America. And the first thing I look at is that we had Megan Thee Stallion twerking at a presidential, whatever it was.
Yeah. I think it was
Megan Thee
DNC, I think.
Stallion.
Yeah.
That was the first person. This is what we have to offer America. Megan Thee Stallion. I'm sorry, people. It doesn't serve us. We're at the bottom because we have adopted a culture of single-mindedness. We are the most people who have single households. We have the least income. We have the least wealth. How do we expect to come together as a community when we can't come together with the person we had a child with? We can't come together with our blood family. But we want to come together with a person down the street and do business with and do commerce with and trust them and build the community. We are at the bottom because we have a trash culture. And until we recognize that, we will be trash and we will be at the bottom. It's not rocket science. Look at every other community. God, family. And what have we lost? First of all, we have churches that don't speak about holiness no more. It's all about just being a good person. I was raised, good people still go to hell. It's about understanding that Jesus is your Lord and Savior if you're a Christian. Now, if you're Muslim, you do what you do. But that was the key to unlock the door to heaven. It wasn't being a quote-unquote good person. You got just as much divorce in the church you got out the church. You got just as much single parents as you got in the church and out the church. You got as much scamming, stealing. We have to take accountability for our culture. And we have to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. I have this conversation with my grown 29-year-old son who keep talking about reparations. And I tell him, you got your reparations. This boy got a free ride to Williams College. I think he owed like $1,000 after he got out of school. 4-year degree for free. What else do they owe you? But then he went, I don't want to work this job. I don't want to work this job. Like most of these young people out here, they don't want to work hard. Well, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a podcaster. I want to do my own thing. And we have lost our culture. And until we get it back, people, it's not going to work. Y'all can boycott Target every couple of days. It ain't going to work. Because we don't even understand how to really affect their pockets. Why don't we all come together and buy the stock like they did GameStop and run it up and run it down? We could be making millionaires. But we can't come together and do that. Right. And I'm gonna give you this one other. I know I've said this before, and it was a glaring reason. Like I told you, I had some work done on my house a couple months ago. I don't know. I told this story.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everybody on the site was related. The tile guy, the plumber, the electrician. They was all the father, the son-in-law, the cousin, the brother-in-law, the granddaddy, the nephews. All of them related. All of them getting money. Came over here from somewhere. Millionaires. They left my house with about 70, 80,000. One project. All of them split that pie. But our kids don't want to do plumbing. Our kids don't want to be an electrician. They want to be a basketball player, football player.
Yeah.
So this is why we at the bottom, and I'll let somebody else speak. You come back to me.
So
All
was
right,
she
man.
wrong?
I appreciate it, man. Go ahead. You want to? Who was that just came off? I couldn't see it. Is that Joe?
I was just
Go ahead,
asking
Joe.
Vince. I was just asking Vince, after saying that she wasn't qualified to speak on the very things that you spoke about that she touched on. Yeah, on the surface level, but you know, obviously went a little deeper because we're black. Was she at all wrong? Because is it even fair to expect her to have that much of a nuanced perspective into the issues that she spoke about on the surface level? I'm not sure where the disagreement with her is at.
The
I
disagreement
just,
is, I'm sorry, no, let Vince answer it. I can
I
think you
just think
directed
that
it at
she
me.
was ignorant of what she was talking about because she hasn't experienced it. Be a little bit different if she was maybe married to a black man, had some black kids. She had she was actually in the culture. She talking about the Jeffersons. I mean, that's a TV show.
Can I even push back on that? Because even I, who's married to a white woman, there's things I'm not even gonna let her say. I'm gonna be honest. There's things I'm not gonna let her speak about. Cause yeah, you're with me, but you ain't black.
No.
That's so. There are things I ain't even gonna let happen. You say your extended family talk about, and vice versa. There's things I'm not gonna broach either, right? So we gotta like. I'm sorry. I think when black, I'm gonna say this. You might be surprised.
Go
When
ahead,
black
man.
guys start dating interracially and letting their girlfriends start talking crap about black people, I got a real problem with that. I got a
Speak
real
on it.
problem with that, and
Speak
I'm
on it.
seeing it, and it's crazy. No offense, it's coonerish to me, and I got a problem with it. I'm sorry, I just do. I listen. Date who you like, be who you're with, but don't let that partner start talking crap. Now keep that in the bedroom. If that's what y'all into, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Because y'all start getting that brown peen, and y'all think that it gives y'all the license to speak on issues that you don't know anything about. And black men, y'all start getting that pink poo, and y'all think that it allows y'all to, give certain liberties. All of a sudden, it's such enlightenment. Everybody's so enlightened. It's like, no, you're not enlightened. You just had, you tasted the rainbow. That's it. You're not enlightened. That's all it is. Let's call it what it is. The reason why we have a problem with it is because she was disrespectful. If she would have been more respectful, we would not have had a problem with it. You have a problem with it because it was disrespectful. I have had discourse with people outside of our ethnicity. We've had conversations, and we can have conversations about just about anything. Anything. The problem is how you approach that conversation. If you approach it with respect, really trying to understand and educate yourself. Why come on an mostly all black panel to talk about black issues and you haven't even properly educated yourself? Like, you haven't even properly educated yourself. So when you do have the conversation, at least you know the thing you're going to talk about, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to know all our history, but if there's something is specific that you want to mention and that you want to bring up and that you want to talk about, then why wouldn't you at least have that data? And I'm not mad at you for even having a printout. Like, you know what? I was looking this up, guys, and you got your notes. I wouldn't even be mad at you because it would show me that you cared enough. But to come on here talking about some Jeffersons and some Jacksons and some anybody else, this is how the world learns about us. This is how they learn about us, by what they see on TV and movies and social media. Now, what we do need to take responsibility for, like Shan said on the panel of the show, was how we present ourselves. How we present ourselves. So the Cosby Show was great. It was awesome. It was wonderful for us to see that. But from the outside looking in, the Cosby Show could present a little bit of a an expectation that not all Black families will meet, where you have a wife who is a lawyer, and you have a husband who is a doctor with his own practice, right? Not saying it doesn't happen, and not saying we don't have that. But what I'm saying is that's not the norm or the average, right? So seeing something like that, you're going to go, well, if that's how Black people can be, or if that's how Black people can are, then what's your problem? Right? It could give you that mindset if you're on the outside of the culture and you don't understand the challenges that happen within. Then you're going to see that and you're going to go, oh, well, lawyers, doctors, oh my goodness, like, what's the rest of y'all doing? Y'all must be lazy. Right? But we all know that everybody's not going to be a doctor. Everybody's not going to be a lawyer. That's not going to be all of our circumstances or situations. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're lazy. It doesn't necessarily mean we're not working hard, right? So while I'm not trying to give us an excuse, and I think that needs to be understood as well. This is not about giving Black people an excuse. Oh, slavery, so we ain't never got to be anything. We'll never have to amount to anything. That's not what we're saying. However, what we're saying is you cannot ignore our lived experiences in this country. You cannot ignore them and act like they don't have some bearings on why we have had to work so hard to catch up. Because that's the truth. We have had to work harder just to catch up. We have. So, I mean, while I don't think anybody should use it as an excuse, I'm also not going to pretend like it doesn't matter.
That's right. Go ahead, Vincent. Was that I got Vincent and JR. Go ahead, Vincent. I'm gonna let you lock, JR. Go ahead.
Even though the Cosby were quote unquote higher earnings, I think that was a side story to the dynamic of a mother, father in the home raising their children, because they didn't move like rich people, I guess you could say. They kind of moved like middle class. I think more of the thing was the family dynamic, the strong father, the father that loved his children, the issues that they had that they were able to talk about, the mother who was a nurturer, but she was also a working mother. So I don't know if it was the doctor and lawyer thing, because they could have been something else. I mean, it did have some episodes where he was delivering babies, but it was more so the family dynamic, because we had grew up on Good Times. You know, that was our George and Wheezy. You know, we didn't have a younger family dynamic, you know. And I even said to my mother, I wish I had the Cosbys when I was younger. I did. I wish I had a pops like Bill Cosby. I did.
Hey,
I wish. I mean, that's why I went to college. I wanted to be a Kappa. You know, it did do some inspiring, more than just the whole higher earning, highly educated.
Right. No,
You
that's
are
facts. That's
positive.
facts. JR, let me
Nah,
hold
you
on,
can
Joe.
see it.
Let me let JR rock real quick, because he's been waiting, man. Hold on, Joe. JR, come on off, man.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Everybody good, yeah?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. I'm all good. Yeah, great conversation so far. And yeah, it's a hard one, right? Because obviously, as you can see, people got different opinions, and then we're coming back around the full circle and we're agreeing with, like, different points and whatnot. So I think we all kind of do align with, what's being said or what's going on. And I think just for the sake of the conversation in that particular panel, I think that it's good that she was on the show, because by hearing what she's got to say, and as much as it's hard for Black people to want to hear what she's saying, from a different race or whatever it is, every week that we come on a panel, I think slowly we're getting closer to the truth, about Black people. And from the outside looking in, obviously me being in England, right, we've had a different experience to black people in America, right? It's a complete different experience. But as a culture of black people, it's still bad. So that's what I said. With her being in the conversation, what she's saying, she is kind of spitting some truth in regards to, you know, call women a this way, whatever it is. And then what about the men? What we doing to rise up as men, you know, to climb the ladder, you know, as men, as Mr. Vince just mentioned, a whole family of men pulled up and done what they had to do and earned that money. So, like I said, I can separate myself because I'm in England, right? But the culture is still the culture because we're black people. And it's kind of similar to England here as well, where it's like the women are moving the same way as the American women, and the men are moving the same way as the American men. I don't want to be ambitious, don't want to work hard, and whatnot. So I think for the, like I said, sake of the conversation, it's good that she's there, because if we ask ourselves a question, right, the question about other cultures, we're not saying that their women don't move loose or anything like that. Of course, you know, there's women like that in every culture. There's men in the certain cultures that don't make money, long money. But if we look at the stats, it shows that black men, yeah, we have improved, but can we actually do better than what we're doing as a whole? Because there's still that individual mindset amongst black men, amongst black women. Like we just mentioned, family, we can't even, man and women can't get on together and look after the kid as a whole. So how do we expect to create something that's going to move the whole black culture forward and is seen in a positive light? And at the moment, it's a struggle because some people are coming in and saying, yeah, let's fix it. And then the other half are rebelling, and then overall just creating a big chaos.
Okay. Appreciate that right there, Jay. I appreciate that. Joe or Herschel, y'all want to say anything on this, or y'all good right now? Just come off mute, say what you, go ahead, Herschel.
Yeah. Well, good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to say about the lady, the woman over on the show. One thing I noticed about, which is like a problem with her and like so many other people in this country and the world that have that same perspective as she does, where it's like you come off thinking you know everything, but you're uneducated, is because until we own any type of major media outlet, we're always going to be portrayed on TV or radio or whatever in the worst way. And that's one thing I peeped. What happens is like there are so many positive things that we do that only little snippets of it gets shown or portrayed for us. So the masses, what people see is the bad stuff. But equally, we don't have to subject to those things too. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to take those crazy roles. You know, we don't have to accept those performances be twerking at a DNC. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do that. And if we don't do those things, they can't film nothing, they can't portray nothing, and all they can do is show but the goodness. So that's part of like, you know, what other people were saying about us. Still, we still have a individual responsibility too. You know, because they're all in this world. There are truths to all the stuff that was said. You know, but you know, and also the ignorance or the impoverished situation, the lazy mentality. Every race and culture has that. They all do. But what's being portrayed more is us, the ones that always pretty much get beat down from centuries, you know? So I was going to keep it brief with that and just wanted to throw that little spin to it about the media outlet.
So, Herschel, let me ask you this, because you bring up a good point, and I don't want to let that pass.
All right.
So you said that, you know, essentially these media outlets, media channels get used to kind of portray this image of black folks, you know, here in America, right? But then you also said that essentially we don't have to participate. So we don't have to give them essentially the content to be able to, you know, portray out to the masses to kind of create this the stereotype of this reputation, right? Give me your honest opinion, man. Why do you think that we continue to participate? Yeah, why do you think that we are willing, and I know we brought up the whole Megan Thee Stallion, twerking at the DNC and all that. Like, why do you think that we are willing to participate in a situation where, we gonna get up at the DNC and our first opportunity at the DNC is to twerk some thighs? Like, why do you think that we participate? What do you think is behind that?
It's a number of things, but I'm gonna dive in on one. So, like in mental health and everything, let's talk about abuse and abused children. There are some syndromes where a child will do everything for that abuser, and because they're getting the attention, and that's the only attention they're getting. So that's some attention is better than no attention at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's a syndrome that happens where, like, people are looking and say, well, how are you still smiling and cool when this person is like tying you up or, brutally beating you and this and that. So it's that one reason. That's one reason. So it's pretty much like, in the exposure, they're like, oh yeah, I'm about to be on TV. Hey, I'm gonna get that check. Let's do it. Then, then the way they, as far as self-defense mechanism, they'll say everybody else is doing it. I'm not the only one. I'm not the spokesperson, even though, other people actually do see that person as a spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? So that's their way of they're kind of in denial. It's a lot of dynamics, greed, money, upbringing, just kind of being ignorant, just thinking. And then, because they never know. They say, okay, what if I pass up on this and then I don't get no other offers nowhere else? I could have got that money, to set my family off or, whatever. So it's a lot of dynamics to it, but we have to kind of like, sometimes we gotta pass on those deals, just for the better of our culture, and not everybody's ready to do that. Nobody, there's only some certain people who are revolutionary people that are willing to do that.
Right. Yeah, and I appreciate you responding to that, man. And I wanted to ask the question because I think there is a deeper problem, right? So just, asking that question, right? I assume the same responses, right? Kenyatta dropped a comment. She said money, right? I know money is going to be one of the pieces that's going to come up, right? Shout out to Heavy Arms, JR. He said clout and fast money, right? So he's talking about the money. He's talking about the attention, from it. He also said no long game, right? So folks aren't thinking long term. But I expected to hear the money. I expected to hear the attention and the clout, right? But yeah, the reason I wanted to ask is because we see it from people who not getting money. Yeah, we see those behaviors from folks who not getting money, who not getting attention. Yeah, but they still do it. Yeah, they still come in out of pocket. They still are willing to do things, to sell themselves short, to embarrass themselves, to be blunt about it. But they're still willing to do it. Now, I know, Herschel, you threw a couple other pieces in there, getting into the mental piece of it, some traumas, some things like that going on. So, yeah, we have to consider that. But yeah, like I said, we got some folks at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. We got some folks out here who know better. And they still going out there and they do what they do. Yeah, so I'm trying to get down to the root of it, right? Because I know we saw the video, and I agree with y'all. The young lady, I think her name was Amira. She has a level of ignorance when it comes to Black folks, their history, their achievements, their contributions, what's true and what's not. She definitely has some ignorance. And if the only basis that you can make your points on is off of some little material depictions of Black folks that you've seen, or what she say, R. Kelly. I'm like, I don't horrible example to give you. But it's still ignorant because that's not our history. If that's not our foundation, those are a couple quote unquote representations of Black folks and Black quote unquote family scenarios, if you just want to say that. But essentially these were just TV shows. And then, of course, R. Kelly is just a performer, an artist, right? So this is not something you should be using for a foundation to make these types of claims. When you want to go and start talking about the hundreds of years of slavery. You know, you ain't got your dates right. You ain't got your durations right. You know, you want to start talking about, you know, the root of or slave came from Slavic people. And I said, that's debatable. Cause I can go put some facts on the screen right here that'll put that to bed. So it's like, if you're going to have that conversation, you know, definitely do your research and come prepared to have the conversation, not just to take your shots. Because she definitely was taking some shots, you know, while she thought she was dropping some gems. So we just going to keep it a buck. I saw right through that. But, you know, she got her 15 minutes. So shout out to her. But yeah, we just, like I said, there is some stuff there. Yep. As Coco, you was trying to say something? You on mute. Come off.
Sorry, y'all. I think Joe wanted a chance to respond. We haven't given him a chance to speak.
I'll let him rock. Yeah. Go ahead. I just want to make sure everybody who's win. Go ahead, Joe.
I like everyone's perspective. I mean, when I first heard the video, she was being egged on to give her opinions about these things, and she was actually very reluctant to say what she said, which is what we're commenting about. So she actually didn't want to say what she said, but they said, "Go ahead, go say what you got to say." So she did. Now I guess this is the consequence. But if you thought that was problematic, you should have heard some of her older content, which was far more incendiary than what she deleted a lot of those stuff. So I actually like to listen to what she had to say because of the outsider perspective, which is what JR touched on. Intentionally, because we only can live in our own skins. We can't see what's behind our own heads. So it can be useful to hear someone else's opinion, regardless of how surface level, how much knowledge they have or don't have. What is their first impressions of us? If I walk out the house in a clown outfit, but then I turn around and say, actually, the majority of us are actually doctors and lawyers. That may be true, but the first impression does matter. So how we present ourselves to the world, which does come in the form of the entertainment that we put out into the world. Um, so when she spoke about, uh, um, like, I guess the material that she got, that was something that the host of the show gave her to look at. I would, if I was interested in learning more about her culture, I would go to her, and she's going to give me content, whether it's music, television shows, movies, whatever, to reference, because I'm not going to know how to dive deeper into certain things. I'm going to count on someone who's actually in the culture, who is a part of it, to give me these things. So um, he chose not to give her literature on Marcus Garvey. He chose not to give her content about anything that happened before slavery. He didn't give her that. He gave her the Jeffersons, the Cosby Show, and R. Kelly. So, and that's what she has to go off on. We know that it's ignorance, but she doesn't know that. She's just getting information from someone that she trusts to get some of her information from. Lastly,
come on.
Coco.
Joe, she been here too long. She been in this country too long. Come on, Joe. Come on, baby. I love you. I love you to life. But come on, baby. You mean this grown woman hadn't have no idea, nowhere to go to get no kind of. Come on now, Joe. I agree with you. I don't know why Lapeef JR gave her that ridiculous list of I don't know why he told her to start there. So I agree with you on that. But you mean to tell me she ain't had no other resources available to her? Come on, not Joe.
Joe tried it.
Well, where would you go? Like, if I was interested in Arab culture, I'm not going to necessarily. I'm going to look to someone
She could have
who
went to the library.
She could have done
went to any library and literally asked them for books on Black history. She could have went. It was just February, Joe. Come on, Joe.
She could have went to YouTube. She could have went to YouTube and Google Black history.
She could have went to PBS. Come on, Joe.
Joe tried it.
You're getting jumped, bro.
I can say from my experience, when I went to Brazil, I counted on the people around me to feed me certain information that I'm not going to even think to go outside and like read books about or talk. I'm going to go to someone that I know and trust to some extent.
Not the cap.
And then I'm going to go off that. If they give me some bullshit information and I'm like, well, that's what I know, then I'm going to come off as ignorant. But if someone gives me more deeper, relevant information off the start, then I'm going to be coming off with I'm going to start off on a better footing as opposed to where she's at. She's starting behind the finish line or behind the
Joe,
starting line.
Joe,
So
hold on,
I'm
hold
not
on,
saying
Joe,
that
hold
she
on,
couldn't.
hold on, Joe,
Stop while you
hold on, Joe.
behind, bro.
Hold on, Joe. Let me ask you this question, man. I think you
I'm just
capping
saying
right now.
how
So are you
I
telling me that you didn't Google nothing about Brazil before you caught that plane?
Nope. Now, only to the extent
You
where I
lived?
know.
Stop the cap.
I know it sounds crazy.
I've been to
I
Brazil
know
too.
it's
You
crazy.
lived?
It's crazy. I don't recommend doing that.
Oh,
I didn't give a damn. I,
no.
just, I had the money and I said, I'm just going to go because I didn't want to have like analysis paralysis. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to go. But that's just me. I know most people, they do like a deep study. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to like the place. Let me just go there, experience it. And then if I love it, then I'll come back and do all of the other extra stuff. The studying, the reading, the deep diving. So that's just me. Um, but I get not everybody's like that. You know, most people are going to be like, I'm going to do some research and study. Fine. So I'm going to say that it's possible that she's not doing that. This is a big country. It's not just black people in this country. There's all types of different races and nationalities here. So who knows where she chooses to spend the majority of her time? And if it's not about black people, everything black people, like we grew up in it, because of course we're going to know a lot more than her. Then I don't necessarily fault her for that. But I was just speaking to just the surface level things, the first impression, which it is important. You know that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we do. That's just what human beings do. And lastly, you know, she never claimed to know everything. She always say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know much. I'm just saying what I experienced, what I've seen, what I've heard, friends through friends, and other people I know who are black.
Joe,
Come
So that's
Joe,
what she's
bro,
going on.
She
Joe.
ain't
She
Give it to
have.
did
me,
the
boxer. Give it to
Joe.
me,
She
boxer.
Never,
Joe.
she
She
can
did
never
the
be
I'm
fully
not
persuaded.
racist, but statement. That's literally what she did. I'm not really
But,
racist, but I don't really want to say my
but,
racist statements,
but,
but that's literally what she was doing. Like I'm a little wallflower, but you know I'm gonna say something crazy to y'all.
We also say racist things. We say a lot
Big
of racist
boxer.
shit on
I don't know if I should say this. I don't know. I mean,
this. Deep
I don't even know if it's right for me to say it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I should say it or
Ask
not.
her opinion.
I don't
When you
know.
want the truth,
It's too easy to get y'all. It's too easy to get y'all. Y'all would never let a black woman get away from get
I
away.
Coco, I
Y'all
can't
would
believe I agree
never,
with you.
y'all would never let a black woman, y'all would never, and this is not directed at Joe, by the way.
Mhm.
Y'all would never let a black woman try to run that out game on y'all and y'all take that. We would never be able to pull that off. But pink tears, oh baby, them pink tears,
years.
them pink tears go a long, long way. She set y'all up. She disclaimed y'all. She baby step. She walked y'all into that. Oh, well, see, I don't know if it's right for me to really say this, but I mean, you guys are gonna be mad at me. I don't want you to be mad at me, little old me. So, and it worked. It worked. It worked. Because then she was able to go from to round like that, and y'all missed it. You totally missed it. Like you totally missed that she was taking shots, that it went from her going saying things like, well, this is what friends say, and this is what I've heard some people say. And I want to know those people that you're talking to that's saying that. Okay. But this is what they're saying. It flipped. It's like as soon as they said, "Oh, it's okay," and the men were the ones because y'all love those pink tears. Oh, it's okay. Just say what you gotta say. It's okay. No, it's okay. And then y'all lazy, you loose, you hoes. She just went off. She just went off because y'all gave her the license. You gave her the go ahead. You told her it was okay. And then she showed her real feelings and her true colors. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. But then as a black woman, they're going to say, I'm aggressive and I'm mean and I'm angry because I see it. I see through it and I call her on it. Right. So they're going to say, well, oh, you're not feminine, you're masculine. Oh, you're a chameleon. Oh, you're a grifter. Oh, you're all of these things. Because I feel like we should be having these conversations amongst ourselves. Period.
That's not reality, though.
This
I mean, I
is
get
just
what you're
my
saying.
opinion. This is not, no. They can have their opinions, but we don't have to invite them to be a part of our conversations and let them use our platforms to spew their ignorance. That's the difference. If she wants to take that to her platform that got shut down, yeah, I know about her. If she wants to take it to her platform that got shut down, then she should do that. But there's a reason why her stuff got shut down. She should do that. Don't come and don't bring her, don't invite her to your platform so that she can then use your platform to then continue that. Because you're right, Joe. She did have other content. My thing is this. That means that you've been having these conversations for quite some time. So you don't get a pass to say you're ignorant. You're not. You're doing it on purpose. Because if you really wanted to have these conversations and you wanted to be for real about it, by now, after you've been a part of this platform for so long, after you've been a part of Black conversations for so long, you would have think that you would have done some research by now. You're not new. You didn't just fall off the truck. Because if you would have just fell off the truck, then, okay, we got to give you some grace. But you didn't. You didn't. So because you didn't just fall off the truck, you need to be educating yourself. It's no longer cute. It's no longer okay for you to come on these platforms and just say inflammatory things just because you can. And black men, I need y'all to start standing on business, because I guarantee you, if one of her Middle Eastern men would have had a platform that he built like that, he would not have allowed any one of you to come onto his platform and say something negative about his women. Period. They don't even allow y'all to really look at them for too long. So you definitely not finna fix your lips to say something negative. So while I understand that there's a lot that Black women have to work on, y'all know I'll be the first one to call it out. But when it comes to having people outside of our ethnicity that want to say things, I feel like there should be a line, a boundary that we draw, that we say, you can have your opinions, but what you're not going to do in front of me is be disrespectful. Have your opinions, but you're not going to be, you're going to put some respect. You're going to put some respect on it.
So they really can't have an opinion.
They can have you can have a different opinion. But Joe, you and I both know there's a respectful way to deliver it. And then there's a way that you deliver it that you really don't care how you coming off. You really don't care. You really don't.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that she could not have said it? Yeah, I'm about to be done.
Yeah,
you mean to tell me she could not have said that any other way? Like, y'all mean to tell me she could not approach this conversation any other way? That she had to say it the way she said it. She had to stand on it the way she stood on it. That was the only way she could deliver it.
Yeah, because Joe, but like, I understand what you're trying to say, right? And basically, I'm kind of in the same situation as the lady from the outside looking in, because I'm not in America, right? But like I said, because of the culture, yeah, the culture is kind of similar in America and the UK, like the Black people. So I can understand the way Black people feel about each other and whatever it is, right? In terms of relationship and dating and whatnot, because we move kind of similar. Now, I can only talk on so much as an outsider because I'm not educated. Like I said, within the culture, I can understand that we've all come from something, right? But in the UK, the Caribbean people came before the African people. I never had to deal with what they had, what the Caribbean people had to deal with, because they came like 30, 40 years before the African people started to come to the UK. So what they experienced, African people never really got to experience that as a whole, because the Caribbean people fought so much, you know, the whole Windrush generation and all that, which paved the way for Black people, right? So that's what I said. I can understand what Americans have gone through, but I can't really talk on no Malcolm X, what's that, the Black Wall Street, whatever it is called. I'm not educated in the American history, even as a Black person. So that would be me being ignorant and disrespectful to talk about, just the American black people as a whole, but within a culture, how we move, some people can understand why I say certain things because, like I said, you know, we're all black and we are your younger brothers or sisters. So we watch what you lot do. You lot don't really care for us, but we're following what you lot are doing over there, you know. But like I said, I can only talk on it so much, and that's why nobody would say, "Oh, JR, you're being ignorant or disrespectful," because I keep it limited to what I know. But for her, she acted as if, you know, like I said, she's been around because I do watch them sometimes. She's been around it, and you know, I get what you're trying to say. And yeah, like I said, Miss Price, it's we're getting closer to the truth, you know. So yeah, calling out the black men and whatnot in terms of standing up, yeah, we do have to stand up because they open the door for the disrespect to come in.
I like the opposition. I think there was one guy as an example, which is why I think the way I think about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm fine with her saying what she wants to say. Like, truthfully, like, yes, she's giving an opinion that you feel like she should just muzzle or have some decorum about herself. I agree with that. But then on the other hand, there was one guy that I worked with when I was shoveling snow here in Detroit like a few years ago. Big white guy. You could probably mistake him for Santa Claus if you wanted to, except he's like the evil version of him. So he's hiring me. He said, I want you to help me get this stuff and shovel the snow. I said, okay, cool. And I noticed there was some hostility that he had towards me that I couldn't quite put my finger on. So I had to dig deeper. I had to ask him a few questions like, is there something you have against me personally? That he said that he started going into his story about how he got bullied by a black person when he was a kid and all this and all that. And you would think that someone like me or anybody would be like, oh my God, I'm scared. I need to get out this. I need to leave. Actually, the moment he began to tell me about his issues, about how he felt about us that I didn't know about, then that's actually when we became pretty good friends, actually, because now I know where he stands. I always say I would much rather we had the racism of the 60s than the racism that we have today, where it was overt. Back then, you knew what you was dealing with. Okay, I know this person doesn't like black people because they're telling me that and they're behaving as such. Now it's much more like, yeah, we're going to redline you. Yeah, we're not going to give you a bank loan. You can't see it. We're not going to hire you, but you would never know it. So that's the worst type of racism. So that's why I personally welcome when other people outside of our culture, whether it's Arab or Jewish or white or whatever, speak out about what they perceive us to be, how they see us, so we can be educated on how we must move going forward and dealing with them. Because we can choose to be blind to it, but then they will always also act in certain ways that we may be confused to. Oh, I don't know why they're doing this. We didn't do nothing, but we don't know what is going on in their mind. So when you have someone like Amira come on the show, which not many people do because of the backlash that I'm sure she gets, then it can be useful for us to know, okay, this is how they think. She's saying this is how a lot of her friends and people in her culture believe about black people. Then that we can use that and say, well, now we know how to move. How we use that information, that's up to us.
Yeah, but I think, Joe, I think part of the problem is if we're gonna have the conversation, then we need to have the conversation, right? And that's not what typically happens. What typically happens is somebody just wants to tell you about you, but they don't want you to tell them nothing about them. If they don't want you to talk about their culture and what they got going on, they don't want you, the fellas don't want you talking about how they handle their women and how the household runs over in their country. They don't want to hear none of that because they're gonna do what they want to do. And that's it. And they don't want to talk to nobody who got anything to say about it. And that's where the disrespect, that's where the ignorance comes in. It's like, if you really want to have the conversation, let's have the two-way conversation. Yep, if you really want to come on my platform and tell me about myself, then invite me on your platform to tell you about yourself. But see, that doesn't happen. Yeah, we even see some things in the community. Yeah, I've seen some guys from some different backgrounds of different races, engaging with, black women. But I don't see the black men engaging with they women. It's one direction. It's one-sided. So it's like, if we're going to be honest about it, let's be honest about it. Yeah, we can't act like it's all this collaboration out here. It's not. It never has been. So we really got to think about what we're saying. If we really trying to have a collective conversation and move people forward, that involves two sides, not just one. So we got to keep it a buck if we're going to go down that road. Go ahead, Coco.
I also want to say this. I think part of our problem is we care too much about what other people think about us. Why do we care so much about what other people think about us that already have prejudices towards us? Like, I keep hearing people say, well, we kind of need to know, and this is not a dig at anybody. This is just my thought process behind it. We kind of need to know what they're thinking about us and how they see us and this, that, and the third. We already know we messed up. As Black people, we already know we're doing stuff that we need to change. I don't think that as a group, we believe that everything that is going on in our community right now is correct. We do not think that. We know. It's just a lot of us we ain't ready to turn the corner. We want to keep doing what we're doing. Period. We're not ready to make the changes. But do I need to get the opinion of someone outside of the community that has discriminations and prejudices against me to help me determine what I need to change? Now, if they were coming to me in good faith, right? Like Quay said, if they were coming to me in good faith to have the conversation, like a real conversation, where they wanted to understand why maybe we operate a certain way in our community, they wanted to ask questions, and they really want my opinion, and they want me to answer them truthfully, right? That would be different, because maybe that person is really trying to understand. Maybe they're really trying to get it. But if you just already have in your mind, a preconceived idea of the Black community being lazy, the women being loose, and you already kind of have these feelings and these thoughts, then why is it my responsibility to change your opinion? That I didn't give you that opinion to begin with, but now I should want to change your opinion, your preconceived notion. Why should I care? I actually think, and I'm gonna go ahead and go there, I actually think segregation wasn't as bad as we all thought it was. Because back then, we didn't care as much. We had learned to be content with the communities, because we had built them, with the communities that we had built, with the schools, with the libraries and the churches and the businesses, the banks. We had our own banks. See, we were content, right? We already knew they didn't like us, but we didn't let that stop us then. You see the interesting thing about it? Then the minute we fought to be integrated, now all of a sudden we care so much about what they think about us. What has caring so much about what they think done for us? What has wanting their money, their time, their attention? What has that really done for us? And when I say they, I don't mean everybody, because everybody ain't prejudiced just because they're not a part of our same ethnicity. I'm talking about the ones who are. I'm talking about the ones who are not a part of the solution. They're a part of the problem. I'm not talking about the ones who are part of the solution. I'm talking specifically about the ones who would get on our platforms and talk about us to our faces. Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm not going to put everybody in that. Everybody doesn't fall in that category. But I guess I'm at the point now where I'm like, how much should we care? How much should we care? I'm not trying to make any excuses for our behavior, because our behavior needs to be addressed. But I don't think that that's something that they can do for us. And I don't think that someone who comes to this country to take advantage of freedoms and rights and privileges that even some of us who were born in this country have yet to be able to receive should stand in any type of form of judgments. That's just my opinion, personally.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that right there. All right, let me flip us up. I got one more, then we're going to get on out of here. So it's a little scenario. I want y'all to hear it. Y'all tell me what y'all hear, what y'all think. And then we'll get on out of here. We'll lighten it up a little bit.
So I was talking to this guy that I met on Hinge, right? And everything was going amazing. Everything was going great, actually. The communication was there. I thought we were on the same page. We went to Paris. We were going on dates every week, having phone calls, phone conversations every night. And then all of a sudden, his demeanor changed, and I realized it, but I didn't say anything. He asked me to be his Valentine early January, right? And I told him, I was like, of course, I would love to be. And then maybe a couple days later or a week later, I was like, I would love for you to ask me, with a card or something, something sweet, ask me something sentimental, right? So he's like, oh, I'm wondering, he was like, I wish I would have thought of that myself, whatever, but it wasn't a big deal to me. So he paid for everything. He paid for all the dates. The only thing I paid for was when we went to Paris, and I paid for my own room because I told him that's what I wanted. So, like I said, his demeanor changed, and I was like, I'm gonna, I'm gonna preach for a little bit, but I want to learn how to love better. I want to love better. I want to love people in my life better, not only relationship wise, but just friendships and family members. And when you look at 1 Corinthians 13, when God describes love, the first thing he describes love as is patient. Love is patient. Love is kind. If I want to love, and if God is love, the first thing that God says love is patient. So if this man is having a hard time, something is weighing heavy on his heart, let me be patient with him. Let me give him the time to get his words out, right? 4 days pass, we finally end up having a conversation why he's acting the way he's acting. Because, all of a sudden things have changed. Basically, he says that he wants to be, he doesn't know if we're compatible because he wants to be in a dynamic where he treats, then the girl would treat, then he treats, and the girl would treat. And so I'm like, are you looking for 50-50? And he was like, no, maybe 75-25, vice versa. Sometimes me, sometimes them, sometimes me. And I was like, I've explained to this guy multiple times that I'm that way when I'm in a relationship. You're courting me right now. You're not my boyfriend. But you're courting me. You're getting to know me. And, we're going on dates. So, yeah, I am expecting for you to pay. But we've been out before, and I've paid because I realized he was paying for a lot of things. And I told him, that's something I do when I'm in a relationship, but I really like you. So can I, treat you back? So that was kind of BS, you know what I mean? But what really got me was that he was like, I don't know if we're compatible because I'm looking for someone that's going to treat me back and all of this stuff. And I explained to him that, about the whole, I would do that if, you're my boyfriend, but you're not my boyfriend. We're getting to know each other. And he said, well, this is why I have a hard time saying love. And, this is why, I don't really I haven't had a girlfriend for 10 years. You have commitment issues. And you could have just said that before. But anyway, what really got me, what was the kicker for me was that, and this is kind of okay, let me just say it. Lord, and I pray that you help me say how I feel it. Little did he know I had just bought him, I started preparing his Valentine's Day gifts, I got him a YSL cologne because he said he wanted to have a signature scent. He's not really into scents like that. He wants to get into it. I got him a YSL cologne, right? I was gonna make him a boyfriend basket. He's not my boyfriend. I was gonna make him one though because I like him. So I bought that. He's a chef who wants to get into baking, so I got him. I did my research on cookbooks, and I ordered the day before. I ordered him a cookbook, The Dessert Person, which is a very popular book within the baking community. I got him that. I was gonna put that in the basket. I was gonna get him a Aritzia sweatsuit. I was gonna get him just like a silk pajama set. I was just gonna get him all these things. I had already bought half of the things already, and little did he know that. And it just is going back to when when the Lord talks about what love is patient. I'm over here trying to extend patience to you. I'm gonna give him time to explain himself to me. Like, I'm gonna give him time to figure out what's weighing on his heart. You couldn't do the same for me. So I asked him, I didn't tell him though. I didn't tell him all of these things. So I'm like, so you're unsure about me? He hesitated. I said, you're unsure about me. So if you're unsure about me, I'm 100% unsure about you now. And I would never sit here and try to invest into someone who's unsure about me. So I took my exit. So I think my dad's about to have a new cologne, or one of my best friends. But am I going to stop believing in love and all of that? No!
All right. It's a little scenario.
Boxer, what's the problem?
Tell me what y'all heard, what y'all saw. I know girl was.
Please let me start.
Go ahead, man. Tell me what you saw, man. What you heard.
Please be easy.
Gave him all that and they give him no ass. That's what it was.
Is that what
Please
it was?
be easy on him. Come on, be easy.
Come on.
Be nice.
He took her to Paris and ain't getting no ass. Are you
Stupid
crazy?
ass.
Somebody going to Paris and you getting another room? What's wrong with him?
You
That's why
fuming.
he said 50-50. He thought he was being used. I bet you she ain't paid for the Ruth's Chris dinner. She probably paid for the chili dinners. He's my boyfriend, but he's not my boyfriend. I like him, but I don't like him. Women you having sex with ain't doing all that. I like them. Period. She got to go back and forth, back and forth. That's why he said 50-50 to see, okay, if she ain't really going to give me no ass, then she going to have to pay for some of these expensive dates be going on. He took her to Paris? Are you crazy? That's simp behavior. I know. Got her own room. She don't like him. And see, she's doing that YSL. Why you ain't buying some Creed? Why you ain't buying some Bond 9? He took her to Paris.
Ain't nothing wrong with YSL. Stop
It ain't
that.
Bond 9. It ain't Paris. It ain't Paris.
YSL.
YSL is like
is
Chicago.
a
They
hot
done drove to
fragrance.
Chicago
Stop
for the
that.
YSL is like they done drove to Chicago for the weekend. That wasn't
No,
a
it's
Paris
not,
trip.
Vince. Yves Saint Laurent
Okay.
ain't they done
She
drove
ain't getting no
to
ass. That's what it was.
No,
She ain't
Vince,
getting no
get
ass.
So
your
hold
nose
on.
out the
Let
air. Get your
She ain't
nose
like
out
him.
the air. Get your nose out the air, Vince. It is not that. You act like you talking about guess. She ain't buy him that. She ain't buy him jupe. She buy her.
Do you understand? He took her to Paris.
Oh my goodness.
Paris? Paris is like Paris ain't
That's
Jamaica.
like 10, 20 grand.
But see,
That's like 10,
Thank
20
you.
grand.
Okay. But
With
that's
no
his
ass?
fault. That's his fault. They
Yeah,
clearly weren't
It's
at the
true.
point in their dating. They weren't at the point in their dating where Paris was really appropriate. Paris was not appropriate. If she wasn't at the point where she was comfortable enough to stay in a room with you and all of that, then you shouldn't have took her. You shouldn't have took her to Paris.
He maybe thought he was. Maybe she waited till she got there and be like, oh, I need my own room. He stuck then.
No, because she said she told him she was going to pay for her own room. So, because she had to book that before they went. That wasn't a surprise last
come
minute.
on.
He went with her even after she told him that she was going to just get her own room. What did he think she was getting her own room for? So they'd have two places to.
No, he thought he could change her mind while he was there. It didn't work. His plan failed. He got salty about it. Hey, people take those L's.
She would have
Simple
had
as that.
sex with
I'm
me.
married.
She'd have had sex with me in the Uber. She would have had sex with
Oh,
me
that's
in the
it.
Uber to the hotel when we got to Paris.
So first of all, some girls, and I'm not siding with her because there's some things I'm gonna point out about her. Okay, I'm not siding with her, but some girls do have a level of standards where they're not going to sleep with you early.
What?
And I think that a girl should have. And I think that a girl should have.
What? See, that's the problem.
First and
In
foremost.
2025?
However, if you're a girl who has those standards, then you shouldn't be going to Paris with him that early either. That's how I feel. If you're the girl that says, I have some standards and I'm not going to sleep with you, then you also should be the same girl that says, that means it's too early for us to be going away together. But see, that's my problem with her. She wanted the fringe benefits, but she didn't want. See, she wanted the wifey privileges, but she didn't want to give. She didn't want to give wifey, like she wanted the husband privileges from him, but she didn't want to give wifey privileges. She kept saying he was doing all of these things, but they weren't in a relationship. So she's right for saying that, because he should not have been taking her to Paris. If they aren't even in an established relationship, he should not have been taking her to Paris. That's insane for you to take somebody that you ain't even asked them to be your girl to Paris. Like, why would you be doing that? That was too soon. He was doing too much. She also should not have accepted that trip if she knew she wasn't going to want to sleep with him. Dudes are not just taking girls on trips for funsies. They're not doing that. If they take you on a trip, they fly you somewhere and they're going, they want to sleep. It's expected. It's an unspoken rule, right? So, I mean, we got to be so for real, ladies. Like, come on. So if you're trying to have some standards, then you just don't go. You say, I want to go, but not yet. It's too soon. Let's wait. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. And then there's no pressure. There's no expectations, right? So that was where they both were wrong in that. She shouldn't have went and he shouldn't have invited her. However, I don't understand why you saying that y'all was on the phone all day, all night. Y'all don't think what it take for y'all to be in a relationship these days? Y'all tell me what it take for y'all to be in a relationship these days? Like, if y'all was in Paris, y'all be on the phone, y'all be doing what a relationship look like for y'all? What does that look
Jared
like?
said sex.
Oh, okay. So there it is.
Oh my God. Hey, y'all,
I don't have nothing else to say after that.
But let me, I gotta ask this though, because I know y'all saying that y'all think that some business didn't take place on the trip. So I hear that's the general consensus that's coming out right now. I heard a few things though. So I don't, just from my perspective, I'm not sure if it was just the trip. The lady said a couple things that stood out, right, that I think were problematic in this situation. The first thing that she said that sounded funny to me was when this dude asked her to be his Valentine. She told him she wanted him to ask her with a card. And I'm like, if you dating somebody, why are you trying to dictate how he acts you to be his Valentine?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, so you got some control, you got some stuff going on with you. So that's the first thing I heard. So if my man is paying for these dates and doing all this stuff that he was doing, he probably caught that nonsense too. That's the first thing I heard. The second thing is she went into a whole little spiel about how she needed to learn how to love better. So clearly, this young lady, she not ready for no dude. Let me just keep it a buck. Nigga, she already knows she got some deficiencies. The fact that she said that. Yeah, she don't even know how to love her friends right. So you definitely ain't gonna know how to love a dude right. So that's the second thing I heard. So this, once again, two things already that sounded a little fishy with the young lady.
Wrote these things down.
Then she said when the guy told her that he was looking for they may be incompatible because he was more so looking for somebody who reciprocates. And the first thing she said was, are you looking for 50-50? And it's like, how did you get to, are you looking for 50-50 when this man is communicating to you that he's looking for a woman who reciprocates? So if he's paying for dinners and taking you out and showing you a great time, he's looking for some similar response from you. So how did that take you to the road of he looking for a girl who 50-50? He ain't said nothing about paying no bills. He ain't said nothing about no providing. Y'all ain't even at that point. So how did your mindset take you to that when this man is literally saying, as we're dating and I'm taking you out and spending all my money and showing you this, and I done took you to Paris and take you to the nice dinners and all of this, and it's like, you ain't really paying, you're not really showing me nothing in return. So that was another thing that stood out with the young lady that didn't make sense. Then after all of that, then she comes back and comes to her own conclusion that he got commitment issues. And it's like, how you get to that? Yeah, how you get to the fact that my man got commitment issues? Like that don't add up. Because see, at the end of the day, my man said he was looking for a woman who reciprocates, right? And you clearly communicated to him that he's dating you. So essentially, you're not really ain't about to spend no money because you only do that for your boyfriend. So you done already told my man that he can continue to spend his money on you, but you're not gonna ain't gonna do nothing for him in return. But then to sum it up, the kicker is, after my man started fading away from you, now all of a sudden, you want to start spending money. Now you want to buy some YSL. Now you want to go get him this cookbook. Now you want to go put this boyfriend pack together, even though he's not your boyfriend. Now you want to do all these things after the fact. So yeah, hearing all of that, because I was listening to everything she said, hearing all of that, the reason why this mess ain't work is because you too late. Yeah, when you had the opportunity to show my man that you had wifely traits, that you were a solid woman, that you were a compatible girlfriend to start off your process, you didn't really take advantage and leverage that opportunity like you should have. And you decided that then at the end of it, after my man started fading away from you, then all of a sudden now you want to start showing him something in reciprocation. That's too late. Because he was already showing you from the beginning what he was on. Yep, he was already taking you on the date, spending the money. He was already, let's say, not once again, we can debate about Paris and all of that. Yeah, that's too much in my opinion. I wouldn't have been shooting you to Paris either. But he was taking you to Paris, trying to show you a good time. You got your own room. He got his. Y'all doing what y'all do. But you wasn't really showing my man nothing in return until it was about to be over. Then all of a sudden, now you want to start buying stuff. That's too late. So let me be quiet for a minute. Beatbox, I see you trying to come off. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So another thing I will add, I hate when women or men sometimes women do this a lot too, where they'll put God into all this stuff too. Stop putting God into your mess. Like, stop that. Like, that's insane to me. I'm going to quote scripture and I'm going to virtue signal, saying like I'm a great person while going to Paris. I just think that's insane. But I mean, there's a couple issues. One, a lot of guys do 50-50 because we want to know if you really like us or not. It's really that simple. I know if you like me, if you're going to have sex with me for 50-50, then you really like me like that. If I'm paying for all this stuff, I'm doing all these things, you don't really like me like that. Like, this is true. I don't care what anybody says. Women who like you like that are going to have sex with you, or try to at least. I'm sorry. This is true. I'm sorry. Even women who have standards, you know the deal. You know the deal. Even if she says, I won't have sex because I'm a Christian or whatever, I'm this or that, she's still going to be like, you know the deal. You know the vibes. You can feel it. So I'm not wasting my time on my money. Time is more important. With somebody says, yeah, pay off for all this stuff. Nope, I don't have to do that. And I've said this before, say this again. Plenty of women will have sex for free. So women, that's what y'all competing with. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know why this is even a conversation with women. It's like, well, I want this, then the third. It's over. Like, there's too many women out here who will have sex with you for free. There's too many women who are good looking who have sex with you for free. You can
but
pay.
Those not the ones y'all want.
I don't. Men don't. A lot of men don't care. A lot of men don't care.
Those are not the ones you want for a long time.
I knew my wife wanted to have sex with me, and guess what? I didn't pay for everything, and she still screwed me. I'm trying to give guys some game.
You said the ones that are out there that are doing it for free.
Yeah, that's fine
ones
too.
that have standards.
That's
so you telling me, okay, I want one tonight. So you telling me your wife didn't have no standards?
Ain't no standards.
Right.
For the guy she like, ain't no standards.
Wait, beatboxer, you telling me your wife didn't have standards?
So no, what I'm saying, I'm not saying no. So no, there's a.
I'm talking to beatboxer.
Go ahead. We'll let y'all get it in. Go ahead.
There's nuances. If I'm just
Oh,
trying to
now
hit
there's
it,
nuance.
I'm just trying to hit it. But yeah, my wife definitely had standards for me, and I had standards for her. But I knew she was going to reach those standards. I knew I would reach the standards for her. But if I know there's a chicken head walking down the street and I'm just trying to hit the chicken head, I'm not going to be like, hey, you need to meet my standards. I'm just saying you're hot. She's hot. I'm going to have sex with her, and that's over. That's it.
Okay. But that's all I'm saying. Okay. But you're comparing a woman that you're going to actually want to be with a woman that you only want to just have sex with. And y'all have always told me, hold on. Y'all have always told me that that's different. Now, unless this is one of those nuances, y'all have always told me that the women that y'all really want to be with like that, y'all don't treat like that, like throwaways.
Yeah, because she was still with me.
So
she was with me. She was on my boat.
Compare the chick that has. So you can't compare the chick that has a certain type of standard and saying it's women out here that'll give it to me for free though. Like all I'm saying is I'm not trying to get too deep into anybody's personal situation with their relationship. I'm not trying to get too deep in that because I don't know y'all personally like that, right? So I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want to get to who would give it away and what that means and what that doesn't mean. All I know is y'all have told me, unless y'all was lying to me, that you got the girl that she's just a good time, and then you got the girl that you plan to be with for a long time. If y'all are sleeping with all of them, I'm just saying, if y'all are sleeping with all of them quickly, if you're sleeping with all the women quickly, then how do you know which one is the one that is worthy of the long time because she has a certain standard, or the one that's just a throwaway? Because if they're both sleeping with you at the drop because she's really interested in you and you say the girl is really like you like that, she'll be willing to do it. Okay, so then if that's the case, then how do you guys as men differentiate between the one that's just a buzz down and the one that you're going to keep around if they're both willing to sleep with you immediately?
Without
She
we're probably the most
What?
experienced.
I can't hear because y'all all answered at the same time.
Mr. Vince.
I'll answer that as the elder on the panel. Y'all mess it up for them standards. Ain't no standards. Y'all don't have sex with the guys that y'all don't like, and I've been there too.
That's
like
not
every
true.
time I've dated
That's
somebody,
so not true. That's
I've
so
had.
not true.
And
that's not true.
That's true. Y'all don't have. You know how many?
That's not.
Now
true.
this ain't saying that every woman I've ever dated I had sex with, because I'm not for everybody. Everybody ain't for me. I'm not saying I'm all that. But it's not about sex. It's about the relationship. So it's not based on a woman knows if she gonna have sex with you the first or second day she meets you.
That's true, but she don't have to have it the first or second date.
But I get it on out the way.
Just because she wants to doesn't mean she's.
I get it out the way so we can move on to the real. To the real.
So okay, so let's walk this out. Let's walk this out for the women who are watching that are single, for the men who are watching that are single, and even maybe some who are in the comments. Let's walk this out. So you're telling me that, because this is, I'll be honest, if I was a single woman, this will be confusing to me, because you guys are saying that you want women to not have high body counts. I know not all of y'all are saying that, but a lot of y'all are saying y'all don't want her to be an apparent 304. Means like she is that, right? You don't want that to be something that is apparent, right? So if you don't want it to be apparent, right? So then how do y'all interpret a woman who is willing to sleep with you very quickly? How do you determine what category she falls in if she is ready to sleep with you that quickly? And the second part to that, because it's a two-parter, that's the first question. The second part is, you saying that you're saying that we ruined it for standards, right? So are you telling the girl who is not the 304, who does have the low body count, because she get with a dude and she says, I like you and I want to get to know you. So can we wait for a little bit before we go to that level?
Mhm.
So now you're telling me girls can't do that anymore. Y'all
No,
don't
I'm
take
not saying no, no,
y'all
no.
y'all won't get them the time of day.
I'm not saying that because it's a difference between knowing you can get it and getting it. You know what I'm saying? It could be a month, it could be 3 months, but if you know you can get it, it's a difference. It's women out here that are going, and I've talked to them. They go on dates with guys they don't even like
Mm.
for months, but the guy they like, they sleeping with him second, third date
Second, third date, yeah.
Sometimes
because
for
there
free.
ain't no standards. It's just not.
All out the
So
window.
it's not about sex. It's about the relationship after sex. Sex is a very small part of a relationship when you get to our age. Because we done had a lot of sex. After 35, you done had a lot of sex if you're a man and if you out there. It's after the sex and you get into the relationship. Sex is a very small part of it. We know you're gonna have sex with us. So
So
it's
if
not.
y'all know,
So
okay,
it's
okay,
like
so
a
if y'all
fake
know
thing.
that,
So to me, it's like a fake thing. You know you're gonna give it to me. Just give it to me, and
no,
let's just get on
no,
to
no,
the
no, 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 no,
relationship.
no, 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 no,
Let's get
no.
on
Hold
to the
on,
relationship. Stop
hold
playing.
on.
Stop
Because
playing.
this is part of
Playing with the
the reason
pussy.
why y'all relationships are failing. This
My
is why y'all relationships
no,
are
no,
failing
no. The
because y'all
relationships are
having sex
failing because
first.
women
You're
is
not getting to
playing
know the
games.
person.
No, sex is failing.
Y'all don't know who y'all sleeping with, and then y'all messing around and knocking them up. Now you don't
No,
like
not
I
her.
ain't
most of
saying I
You
us.
haven't
never
Most of
upped
really
the
us.
wanted
ante.
to be with her. Like it's like y'all don't see that y'all don't see
No,
that sex is the root of the problem. Like
No.
No, that
why
ain't the
would
root of
you
the
start
problem.
the relationship with sex? How you start the relationship with sex though? That's the
Because
way
I
you
no, Miss
started the
Price.
because
relationship.
I need to know that she likes
Because
me
men want
first.
sex.
She
And
can't
that's
show
it.
you she like you in
And
any
she
other
want
kind of
and
way.
she wants sex
She can
too.
only
Remember?
show you
That's
with
what
sex.
that's what they be telling us. That's
Yep.
what they be
Right,
telling
John.
us. They
Yeah,
be
She
you're right,
can
telling us
John.
only
that
It's true.
show you she
women are
likes you with
just
sex.
as horny as men. So it's a two-way thing right here. And the reason why we're saying the standards out the window, right, is because they choose to drop the standards. If she says no to sex, then the standards is no sex. That's it. But the fact
Well,
that
no, I can't
they
argue with that.
decide to give it up and
I mean,
I
I
want
can't argue
sex,
with. I
I'm
can't argue
going to
with that.
take it. Now, like Mr. Vince is saying, the relationship comes after. Why does it come after? Because ding ding ding, because ladies are giving it out here for free within the first or second, third date. So guess what? Don't be switching up the standards. Let's have sex, let's move on and see if we can figure it out later on. Don't take the piss.
But the
And
problem
then
with that is every girl is not the same. So
no,
because
I
you come
understand
across
that.
women, I'm
I
sorry.
understand that. Every woman ain't the same. But here's how it goes. Because you're different, right? You will get treated different. Because a man can smell how many dicks you done had in your lifetime. Sorry, shame on you, right? So the
My
fact that
man.
a man can smell that pause, right? Yeah, you will get treated accordingly. You're the one that's not gonna be talked about 50-50. The man's gonna understand, nah, you know what? She's had a couple of relationships. She done fuck with the dude that, done a dirty or whatever it is. She ain't really been on holidays out here. She probably done a lot of one or two on her, hey, is what it is, but she ain't really out here being messy. These all standards about, high body counts and whatnot, yeah, is really a myth because there's this notion about I keep saying American women being, you know, this or whatever it is, right? Listen, go back to these other countries and whatnot. They ain't no different. Yeah? They ain't no different. These Arab, these Muslim, listen, they be lying, okay? Like you said, the reason why we think, Miss Price, about us not getting invited to their table or whatnot, asking questions, right? Because they don't allow us. Go to their country to see how the ladies be moving. Of course, there's the same similar culture to what America has. they've got that over there too. But because people don't allow us to go there, we don't get to see it. But like I said, the standards, it's up to the ladies, right? They dictate the standards. But because they're up and down with the standards, don't be playing games with me. I'm gonna spend the money accordingly.
Amen, JR. Yeah, amen.
Because
I'm confused. I'm sorry, ladies. I was
no,
trying to get
it's simple, Miss Price.
some clarity,
Listen, if all the ladies say, hey, no sex, we're gonna go on dates, we're gonna find men that want to get married, sex is still gonna be on the table, but under the the guise of marriage, but we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna get to know each other first. They have to want that. If they don't want it, I'm not gonna force you to want it. Because remember, you can't control a woman today. So if she don't want it, I can't force her to want that. Because, like I said, if they switch it up, we switch it up because we're gonna chase women forever.
Two things can be true at the same time, Chloe.
The problem with
Two
that
things can be
is,
true at the same time.
what's that, Joe?
I said two things can be true at the same time. I can see the gears turning in your head like I don't understand how you can have two things. Two things can be true at the same time.
Well, but yes, obviously we know that, and I can agree with that. But here's the problem with that, though. In this particular scenario, you guys are saying if all women, kind of like how we say if all men, and we all know that when we work in absolutes like that, it's not realistic, right? So to expect all women all at the same time to decide, you know what, we're gonna no longer have sex before, we're in committed relationships or in marriage or whatever, all at the same time is unrealistic. Just like we can expect all men to say they're no longer going to sleep with women. Like that's ridiculous. Like, let's be so for real, right? So instead we have to say, I am deciding as a woman, I'm, not me, but I as a woman am deciding that I'm going to set a standard for myself because I want to be seen in a certain light. I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be put in that category. I'm not that chick. So when I meet a man that I'm trying to get to know, I want to get to know him and I want to take some time to get to know him. Now, she can determine whatever that time is, right? It's person to person. But she might be saying, I want to wait. She might say, okay, I want to wait at least a month before I, have a physical relationship with him because I want to get to know him, right? I don't think that it's fair for men to say, well, but all the other women will do it. So why do I got to wait for you? Or why should I wait for you? Like, I think there are some women who truly, truly want to know this. Like, why is it that I can't decide as a woman that I don't want to be out there like that? I don't want to do that. So I want to meet a guy, date the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just be honest. Sometimes you meet people and, you find out after a couple of dates, this really ain't gonna go nowhere. Like, this really ain't about to be nothing. Why as a woman, I'm gonna talk as a woman, why should I waste that body on you? Why should I waste that body on you? Why shouldn't I wait and have those few dates first and then go, yeah, this one never gonna go nowhere, instead of wasting that body on you? Why can't I as a woman decide that I want to do that? And why can't you as a man respect that? If you say you want a woman that has standards.
Well, you can, Coco, but what you got to understand is men ain't stupid. We know when y'all playing. See, that's the thing about it.
How would you know that, though?
Oh, we know.
How would you know if she's absolutely playing or not? How would you know?
Because most of the time we know your past. We know who you done slept with. We know your baby daddy.
Oh, you can smell it.
Yep.
Especially if we're in a certain age. Detroit is small. We know when we got a church girl and when we got a modern woman. And there ain't nothing wrong with either one of them. But that's just like a person who say they're a Christian, but then you see him at the bar drunk. We know that you a fake Christian. So it's not necessarily the act of sex. It's about trying to play somebody. Because I asked a friend of mine the other day, men don't go on dates with women they don't want to have sex with. Women will go on dates and don't have no intention on sleeping with the guy
Right.
or want any relationship and have him paying for a $200-300 date. That's the difference. The past was when you was courting, it was one person. You wasn't going on dates. And men know, and maybe it ain't fair. Men know it's some dude out there that took you to Coney Island and bust you down. And that's all we care about. You might think it's barbaric or whatever, but we don't want to be that guy that you got standards for. We want to be that guy that you want to give it to, drop them panties on the first night. That don't mean you got to do it. But we got to think you want to do it. That's the game.
That's terrible.
I want to give it to you. I want to give it to you, but I want to make it wait and get it real sweet for you.
So okay, so let me pose.
Then we'll wait, but don't be playing though. See, women will go out with a dude and then go back home and call the dude to knock her back out and think ain't nothing wrong with it.
So let's touch that. That's a good point, Vince. So let's touch that. Let's say I think this is actually a good conversation. We just done took a turn in a good direction, right? So let's ask that question. Any ladies down in the comment, drop a comment for me. Why do y'all move that way? And the question I'm asking is based on what Vince just said, which I think is true. Why is it that the guy that you don't care about or aren't truly interested in can get sex from you without the standards and without the restrictions and the expectations? But then the guy who seriously is interested in you, then he gets the standards and the expectations and the restrictions and all of those things. Why is that?
Supposedly the guy they like.
No, but so I understand that. I can understand that that's the guy. Wait, hold on one second. I think Vince might be froze. There you go. Okay. Let me know if you're still there, Vince. I don't know if he's doing okay. Okay. All right, cool. But why is that? So the guy that you do like, why does he get the expectations and the restrictions and the resistance and you want to wait and all of these things versus the guy that you don't really like? He gets it in 5 minutes.
I think you got that in reverse, Quay.
Go ahead.
I think you got it in reverse. The guy she don't like is the one that's got the standards because she got to grow to like him. You know how many women say, "Oh, I really didn't find him attractive when I first met him, and he grew on me." Those are the ones that got the standards. I really didn't think he was my type until we went out for 4 months.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking the physical, the sex piece of it. That's the only piece I'm talking, because we see the examples, right? So young ladies will have, they have partners they done been with before. Yeah, they done had, they may have a dude they done had a one night stand with. They done went to Floods, had a couple shots, and my man, he got it that night. He like you said, he done shot at Nikki D's over on 8 Mile. They done got some conies. He done got it that night, right? But then the serious guy come along, and he actually interested in you on some serious intentional stuff. And then he's the one who gets, you want to wait, you want to take your time, you want to take it slow, you want to get to know each other. And I'm trying to understand why that is. Why is it that the whack dude can get it in 5 minutes, but the serious dude who's showing you he's on something, he about business, he's the one that gets the restrictions and the want to wait and want to get to know each other? So I'm trying to figure out why is that? Because that, to me, that seems backwards. Like the dude who on the nonsense, you should be avoiding him like the plague. But he the dude who get it from you in 5 minutes. But then the serious dude, go ahead, Vince.
Because that's the guy she like, Quay.
Is it that she like him, or he just was physically stimulating her?
It don't matter. That's the one she fucking. Excuse my language.
Damn.
Right.
Now the nice guy. Nah. I will say this. If you are going to say, okay, I like him, but I want to wait a minute, you got to let him know that he can get it. That's the whole thing. It ain't about necessarily getting it. It's about letting him know that, you know what, I'm serious, but I do want to wait, but I do like you. I'm not really playing no games. I do like you. And there's certain ways that a woman can convey that to a man. But it can't be too long.
Well, so here's the thing.
And it is a game. I hate to say it, it is a game.
She better
It
not have any
does sound
children.
crazy, but it's the way it is out here now because dudes don't want to get played.
Because Mr. Price, think about it, yeah? Like, with what you just said, right? About, why, about her being sexually stimulated by the guy, right? So think about in a relationship where the guy that she's married to, she's gonna not have a baby with him. She's gonna have a baby by the guy that she's stimulated to, and have the guy that she's married to raise the baby, because she's not really sexually attracted to that guy, but that's just a secure package. But she really likes that guy. But like you said, the chaos, right? The chaos is, I'll go with him for the sex, but I'll go over here for the security.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're saying. And guys are just start to figure it out, where it's like, hey, you ain't gonna run that game on me because my stupid ass, I nearly took a girl to New York. Hey, she took sex off the table. I had to cancel that shit real quick because ain't no way I'm sitting up in the same bed, yeah, thinking shit, should I not, thinking about trying to grab at this girl, like, give me sex. Hell no.
Crazy.
Cancel that shit real quick. Come on now. Can't be playing games on me. Because I know in between that, if you ain't trying to give me something and we're going out there, I know you're giving it to somebody, but I ain't going to say that to you. We just keep it moving. It is what it is. I'm going to cancel my trip. You ain't going to know about it until I let you know. I'm just going to be disappointed the same way you disappointed me by taking off the table. That's it. Don't be changing standards.
Man, this is some
If
wild
that's
stuff.
you,
Let
that's
me
you.
just check.
But how is she changing standards if she says that? So you mean she's changing standards because she says that she wants to wait with you, and you're assuming
we've already had sex
she
previously.
hasn't made anybody else wait.
So we've already had sex previously or whatnot. So we're just doing our thing. But we've been kicking it for about 2 years or whatever it is, being a simpish or whatnot, trying to be a bit huggy bear in the winter in New York and that. She took it off the table before we start flying out. But because we're not together, I know she's doing her thing, right? But I'm the sucker that's gonna take it to New York. I know that ain't no motherfucker about to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. So
Y'all, but see, y'all be okay. Hold on, let me just say this.
Let me check in with her. Hirsch, you up next, Hirsch. Get ready, man. You up next right after this. I need to hear from you. Go ahead, Coco.
Y'all sound like y'all just be putting yourselves in some situations with these silly women that, like, y'all putting yourself in some situations like, why are y'all flying off places with people? And it's just weird to me. But anyway, to answer Quay's question, I would say that sometimes when a woman will do that, I believe, and I can't speak for every woman, obviously, right? But I would say that I believe sometimes women, when they really like a guy, and I know y'all might not agree with this. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Go ahead.
Sometimes when women really like a guy, they want to put out the best impression of themselves. So they don't necessarily want to sleep with you quickly because they want you to think well of them. They don't want you to think less of them. So they rather, present, well, let's wait, let's this, let's that, because they like you. Now, I'm not saying every woman is doing that because I know there are women out here that are playing men. So I'm not sitting here saying that that's the reasoning for every single woman. But I am saying there are women who, when they like you, they don't want you to think they're a 3 or 4. So they're like, I can't, even if I like this dude and I might actually be sexually attracted to him, I don't want to sleep with him on the first date and have him think that I'm out here like this. I'm for the streets. I don't want him to think I'm from the streets.
But
so
Coco,
I don't want to. I like this one.
Your mindset. I understand
like
your 70s mindset, but this is 2025.
No, I'm saying women actually
over 35 people that's having sex. We ain't crazy.
Some lady in the comments, please.
You can have sex with me on the first day or the third day. It don't matter. Because I know
ladies, drop a comment, ladies. Drop a comment, ladies.
Let me up on this. Sometimes we might be putting ourselves in a situation where we're like, okay, I do actually like this guy, and I would sleep with him. but I don't want to sleep with him too soon. Like, I don't want to sleep with him too soon. I like him. I want to get to know him. Like, I don't, I don't
That's
want
not
to,
a
I don't want
compliment
him
to
to think I'm just out here, I'm for the streets. So
That's
like,
not
I
a
want to
compliment to
dates. I want to get to know him. I don't want to sleep with him right away. I really like this one. You know
That's
what
not
I'm
a
saying? Like,
compliment to us, though,
when
bro.
you've been with dudes and you slept with them early and the relationships didn't work out, sometimes as a woman you could think maybe I'm doing something, or like maybe I shouldn't be sleeping with him so soon. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm putting out the wrong, like maybe I need to actually have some standards, or maybe I need to get to know the guy because I'm sleeping with these other guys and they don't work out. Y'all saying a relationship come after. I'm telling you, there are women who are experiencing letting the dude hit and then no relationship comes after. And so they're like, yeah, I got to do something different because I keep sleeping with these dudes and then I get no relationship, right?
That might just be
So
their
if
way.
I like the guy, maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'll reserve that to see if I can get to the relationship point with this guy. I mean,
I got you. Herschel, let me get Herschel in here. Herschel been quiet for a minute. Herschel, man, go ahead, lay it out. What you thinking about this, man?
Where do I start? Okay, so all right, so Coco, to answer your question about how do we know who the 304s are or not, I think most men, we can just, it's like a nature thing. We know who they are. That's why we marry the ones who aren't. We just know. It's, for me, it's the way they carry themselves when they're out in public, or even like it's just certain things. I don't. When I was younger, I would kind of base a lot of things off of our sex and everything. But as I got older, I realized that, like kind of what Vince was saying, it's not. That's like a small part of it, because like we're all humans. We all are sexual beings. So so I don't gauge it by that anymore. Like how many people they slept with, how often, whatever. Because we all do it. We all want it. Most of us, all want it in the day. So I don't base it off that. I just, it's like a way. It's just a way that she carries herself, the way she talks, the way, it's just a mannerism. It's something that we just know who the 304 is, and we don't take them home to mama. That's how I feel. I think most men will kind of agree with that piece right there. So also, what was I talking? Okay, so the lady in the video, I'll just say this. And I think I spoke on this like some weeks ago about my own experience when I was on like an app, and like where the lady seemed like she was just so indecisive. She's on the app to be dating, but she don't want to date. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the woman on there was saying that she's in the dating phase, but there she is, like picking all these type of things that she thinks the guy is gonna like for Valentine's Day, doing things like you said earlier, Coco, like she's doing things like what a wife would do or what you're in a relationship would do. So it's like she's just kind of wishy-washy. She's all over the place. And unfortunately, for some reason, that's how a lot of, I'm not gonna say all of them, but a lot of these women out here are being brought up and bred in that way, where they're so confused and indecisive. So they really don't know what they want. And that's just the unfortunate thing, like that. So that's why people like her are going to probably more likely remain single, because she just doesn't get it. When you have the thing right there, you just find something to mess it all up, you know. And so that, I just want to speak on that piece too. But yeah, back into the just the sex thing. I mean, again, like if a woman, if she know that she's gonna, like what everybody else is saying, if she knows she likes the guy and she's gonna do it, I mean, all that waiting and all that things, and then like when you said, Coco, I'm gonna say this from us being a man. I get what you're saying about like you don't want to come off like a 304 or whatever, but again, so for us, we already got the radar, we already know. We not even be fooling with you like that if we knew you were a 304. We would have already been trying to just like knock it off, knock it down, and then go to the next one. You know what I'm saying? If we're giving you time, if we're giving you energy, if we're giving you like a phone call and a conversation and continuing on, we're not viewing you like a 304. And I think the one females that actually like you said, they gave it up and then it didn't go anywhere. I don't know. It's up, the woman, she need to look in the mirror about what she's doing. because a guy who, men who we like sex, and if the girl is giving it to us and we like her, we ain't going nowhere. We there. That's where we at. So for it to like for the guy to be the one to or not to work out, and she feels like, dang, I gave myself to him and then now I lost it. It's something about what she's doing, unfortunately. And that's not everything. That's not all cases. That's some. But I think I have a feeling I think in most cases, it's rare that we would a guy would we go that far, and then if we digging, we feeling that we're just gonna just move on, unless we're the type of dude that's just put our thing in any type of hole out here. You know what I'm saying? And that might have been that guy. Or might have been the guys that she was picking and choosing. They weren't even in the first place. Weren't even trying to do anything serious, and she didn't read those signs. That's another thing we do as humans. We put on blinders. We put on little blindfolds. We see the things we want to see, and we don't see the things that we don't want to see. And sometimes it bites ourselves in our butts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. This world is kind of crazy out here now. But I'm gonna just say this: all the guys that are married, you guys are very blessed. And be happy and stay there, because the pool, the pool out here is it's a lot of urine in it and other things too.
Yeah, no, I keep hearing that, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna get this comment, then I'm gonna come to you, Joe, and then we're gonna get ready to get out of here. See, Kenyatta said, let's see, a man would choose the woman who has his back. If the woman in the video brought the gifts and took him to dinner and treated him like she wanted him, then he would not have kicked her to the curb. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Kenyatta. The young lady, she waited too late. Yeah, I'm not sure where that mentality came from. Yeah, I'm not sure where women took this position that this man is just gonna be taking you out, taking you on these dates, spending all this money, and you just do nothing in return. Like I'm not sure who defined that as dating. I don't know who defined that as courting. Yep, how that used to look was he took her out, he asked her out on a date, that went out, hung out. He may have asked you out on another date, y'all went out, hung out. That third date, y'all might have went bowling or something, and that was when the young lady was like, you know what, I'm gonna get this one. And it's like, okay, yeah, I see the young lady, she getting the cheaper one. You know what I'm saying? We just came from Roof Chris yesterday, but now she want to catch the bowling. But it was the thought and the mentality behind her wanting to do something in return. Yeah, so for the young lady in the video talking about the man is just gonna keep doing all of this, and because he ain't her boyfriend, she ain't financially doing nothing, putting nothing financially back into the relationship. I mean, that's why my man faded on you. That's pretty simple. Because at some point he gonna start feeling like he just being used. And I'm not sure why she doesn't understand that, or why some of the ladies out here who say stuff like that don't understand that. Because at the end of the day, I've seen some ladies out here these days, and as soon as you ask them to pay for something, they be having a fit. Yeah, as soon as the dude be like, hey, you know what I'm saying, can you grab this dinner and the bill is 150, she having a fit. Like 150, like I ain't paying no 150. It's like, whoa. So you think my man just want to keep putting up these 150, $200 bills, Roof Chris, Eddie V's, all you think he just want to keep spending all his money and ain't nothing in return? Yeah, come on, let's be realistic, because ain't no female about to do that. So why you think a dude about to do it? Go ahead, Vince, then I gotta go to Joe.
But then you do got, she's about a 8, 9 probably. So she got that pretty privilege. So a lot of guys will spin her around, take her out, and it ain't nothing to them. But that's where it get confused, because you got the guys on that end that ain't looking for a relationship and got money, so they'll take her out and take her wherever she want to go, spend money on the buy purse, whatever else. But then you got guys who maybe are more her age and want something, and so she treating them both the same. It might be a little difficult. I ain't saying it's right, but then she has to look at what her intentions are. If her intentions is always to have a good date, then she's going to miss up on some good guys, probably.
Yeah, no, that's facts right there.
Or some potential.
Yeah,
potential relationships.
That's facts. No, and I agree with that. I just think the only thing I do think is happening, Vince, is I think the dynamic is changing. Yeah, you mentioned her, being an 8, 9, having that pretty privilege working for her. I'm gonna be honest. I've been seeing a lot and a lot more pretty girls by themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if the pretty privilege is working like it used to. It may get you the looks. It may get a guy to see you. I'm like, oh, okay, she cute, whatever. You know what I'm saying? She look like she popping, but it ain't going too much farther than that. Yeah, but I think that dynamic is shifting. See, that girl used to have a guarantee. It's like she already knew they was gonna be coming. But I don't even think that's working effectively like it used to. So it's getting hot out here. All right, Joe, I'm gonna let you get the last of it. Then we're gonna get ready to close, man. Go ahead.
So I get the dilemma that Chloe's facing. She was going back and forth, and I did say earlier that two things can be true at the same time. But I understand from her perspective, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. The thing was, if I can't, so I get that part. But what Herschel said, actually, he said what I was going to say, which is, we don't. It should be a balance where a woman isn't intentionally trying to hold out on sex for a man, but also that a man isn't intentionally holding out on a relationship with a woman. So ideally, you want both to get what they want. But if one is playing more games or a better game than the other, then someone's going to get played. That's the nature of the game sometimes. Um, Secondly, that's it. So we want women to have standards, but we want a woman to keep her standards the same across the board. Not have standards for me, but standards, what is it? Don't switch it up on me, but then give it up to D. So you're going to have standards for one guy. Don't sit here and say you have standards for me that's different, and then claim you like me. Because maybe I get it, in your head, you're thinking, well, I want to present a certain way. Well, we want you to present your way the way you did to the last guy because you gave him what he wanted, which is also what we want. We want sex just as much as the last guy. So if your standard for him was, I'm going to have sex on the first night or two, we're going to feel like we want the same. If we find out that you've been having lower standards, then, and men have a way of figuring that out, then he's going to feel some kind of way, possibly. A lot of men will. Um, but if you meet someone in the middle, you say, well, I'm a changed woman now. I want to have standards. I want to do things different. I want to attract a certain type of guy. Okay, you can have that standard if that man is willing to accept it. But don't get upset at the man if he's unwilling to accept your new standards that you set for him, but not for the man before him. That's just the way it is. Um, how do we tell that? How can we sense that what type of woman a woman is? Is she a hoe? Is she not? It's just the energy. Just the same way that a woman can sense the type of guy that, oh yeah, I can tell you get all the girls. They just he don't have to say anything. He just walk in the room. Oh, you probably get all the ladies. We can sense it too. Oh yeah, she's probably smashing the whole block. Oh, I can sniff it a mile away. I'm targeting her. And then he's like, yeah, I was right all wrong. So we know, I guess the quote unquote good girls from the bad girls. I think every man wants the lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Every man wants that, but some men kind of settle with having either or. I'm going to have this on the side, but she's going to be my wife. Same thing with a woman. I'm going to have my husband. He's going to provide and take care of me and do all the protective duties, all the things a husband that society says a man's supposed to be. But this guy over here, man, this guy, this Denzel Washington look alike. He can get it any day, any time of the week. He don't have to put a ring on my finger. So, you know, ideally, a man wants to be both. He wants to be the husband and the guy that she fiends over. Ideally, vice versa with a woman. It doesn't always work out that way. In most cases, it's going to be one or the other. That's how when I don't, well, I shouldn't. There's some married people on this platform. I go downtown and I go to certain festivities, adult activities as I used to, and I would see these married men come in. Like, oh, then you must be, man. My wife, I just got to see something different. I just got to, she's not giving me what I want in the bedroom. She's not doing. Like, whoa. Or a married woman would come around to me and say, well, he's not giving me what I want. I say, but you got everything you want. You got the house, the cars, the children, the picket fence. What can I
You know
possibly
what you
give you?
want. You know what you want, man.
It's just,
You know
it's
what
just
you want.
I just want you. So we got to drop this whole I like, again, lastly, I will say this. We don't take it as a compliment when you say we're holding out on giving you sex because I like you. It literally doesn't. it doesn't feel good to us when it's like our biological imperative is to procreate. We are, when you ask that one question, everyone says sex, 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 that one answer. You're probably like, that's such a basic answer. Yeah. So when you take that off the table and say, well, we like you by not offering you sex on because we have these standards, and no, we just take it as you don't like me like that. You might like me as a friend, that's cool. As an acquaintance, as a work partner, that's cool. But as far as like relationship or potential, nah. I don't even deal with women who hold out like that, unless they have those standards across the board, and to which I do respect. I do respect that. And those
Yeah.
those type of women are rare. So that's it, man. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, I appreciate that right there. Well, man, we're gonna get on up out of here. We're gonna take some closing and we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go across top to bottom and then we gone. Coco, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
I think whenever we have conversations, just the conversation we had before about Black people being at the bottom, and even this conversation we're having right now, like I think that before we look to anyone else, that means if you're a woman, before you look at that man in the scenario, if you're a man, before you look at that woman in the scenario, if you're a black person, before you look to another ethnicity, you really need to be doing some self-reflection. You need to be doing some self-analyzation. You need to be doing that first. We don't really need anyone else outside of us to tell us about ourselves. Come on, y'all. We don't need that. It's just that we don't want to do the thing that we know we need to be doing. That's really what it is. We already know that there are some issues amongst us, but we'd rather continue to fight each other and go back and forth about it instead of just doing the work. Black women, I do not believe that you truly, honestly believe that it's okay for you to be walking around with a 365-day attitude. I do not believe, Black women, that you think it's okay that obesity amongst our community, especially our women, is high, and that's okay. I do not believe that you think it's okay that as women, we tend to carry a lot of debt, and we're not good with our money. I don't believe that you think these things are okay. And I'm speaking to the women because I am a woman, right? I don't think for a second that you need someone outside of our community to come into our community and disrespectfully tell you that. You don't need them to do that. This is something you already know. We just have to be willing to do the work. The only time I can agree with someone calling us lazy is when we have the ability, when we have the resources to change some of these things, especially the ones that I've mentioned, but we simply choose not to. Then I'm sorry, I would have to agree. That's giving lazy. That is giving lazy. So we just have to decide, right? Do we need somebody else to tell us that, or do we not already know? Right? So once again, just start with yourself. Like, come on, y'all. We have too many resources available to us. There's very few excuses at this point. If there is something in your life that you want to change, you literally can. You literally can. So I would just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that closeout right there, Coco. Herschel, you want to say anything if we get out of here, brother?
I'm going to say that I think one of the many solutions to the thing of keeping us from being on the bottom is we have to start supporting each other more, and we have to not look at each other as a threat. We have to network. We have to come together, because too many of us have all of our own different businesses, so to speak, and no one ever networks and links together to combine to grow. You know, but a lot of other cultures, races, ethnicities, they do that. You know, like, and I'm gonna just use a real quick example as far as like support. You know, and working together, not to do it just for your own profit either. You know, to do it for the sake of the whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, this platform right here. When you guys, I mean, I've been here since y'all started. I was watching like from afar, distance. You know, I see you, you know, on my timeline scrolling. I see you guys doing this, and I wouldn't be on it or nothing. I was just looking, I keep scrolling, whatever. Eventually, I stopped and I said, you know, let me listen to this, let me watch this. Then after I watched it, I said, you know what, let me get on the platform. You know, and ever since then, I made a point for me to consistently, not all the time, but you know, for the most part, get on this platform and represent and support. You know what I'm saying? Not for me. I'm not doing it for me because not once have I sat over here and promoted my LLC or anything like that. It's strictly for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then I look and I see, like, I'm gonna say this, like, so Quay, your Facebook page, I'm guessing you probably have maybe in the hundreds, like as far as friends, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure that maybe at least 50% or a little less, maybe all see when you put your post up about this platform.
Right.
They see it. They probably are on Facebook right now and they see us talking and everything, moving around live, and they just swiping on up. And this
Talk
and that.
about it.
You know what I'm saying? But and I look and I see, I'm like, okay, we got 5 people on here. I know you should be having at least 50 or something watching at a time. But we don't support each other enough.
No, we don't.
And that's a problem to me, you know, and that's why we stay at the bottom, because we got so many other priorities. We want to talk about the love of hip hops and all the little fads and things that's going on, the thing about what Kanye doing right now, acting a damn fool. Who cares about him? Let's support our own people. Let's grow. That's why I'm here. I mean, that's why I come on here every day. I'm trying to do my part. You know what I'm saying? I see 2 people are trying to do something with it, and it's a good platform. It's a good thing, and you know, I'm gravitated to it. You know, I'm loyal to it to the end. You know, but that's what we have to do with each other's things. We can't get anywhere. We're doing something separate. I'll end with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you made that point, man. And I said, if there ever is a situation, man, where you do want to promote something on the platform, just let me know that. Yeah, but like I said, we can put that right on up on the screen, man. So now I don't, and that go for everybody on the panel right now. If there's anything that you're trying to promote, you got a business going on, you got a, you know, little company running, you know, let me know that. You know what I'm saying? Send that over to me. We can put that right on up here in front of all these viewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I mean, honestly, I'm not here for that. So, you know, my thing is that you all know what I do, and you know, if you ever have your time, you want to say, "Oh, hey, holler at my man at this, blah blah blah," and you want to let you know, come at me and let me know, and I say, "Okay," but I'm not here for that. I'm not gonna come on here. Hey, y'all, by the way, 555. You know, no, I ain't here for that, man. I'm here for y'all, man. You know.
Yeah. Nah, I understand. No, I'm just letting y'all know, because like I said, this platform, I said we put this platform together, man, you know, for the reason that you just, you know, spoke of, Herschel. I said we're trying to move us in the right direction, move us in a better direction. So, you know what I'm saying, if we can use this platform to help get somebody's, you know, business off the ground, you know, we can use this platform to help get you, you know, more eyeballs on your services and what you're offering, I'm all for that. That's why we here. Like I said, we doing this trying to help us. This ain't about no money. This ain't about no clout. None of that. And to your point, you know, Herschel, I'll just touch on that because that is an important point. You know, to your point, you know, Facebook is 939 folks, right? Yeah, but a lot of our support comes from the same small group of people. So, you know, and shout out to them. They know who they are. The Kenyattas, the Donovans, the Winfreds, the Nicoles. It's the same. The Vinces, you know, Herschels. It's the same. You know, the Joes, the Beatboxers, It's the same small group of folks who support the platform day in and day out, right? And hopefully over time that will change. Yeah, but as a people, to your point, Herschel, we have to do a better job of supporting each other and what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? We got to give each other some grace. You know what I'm saying? Support the movement, support folks while they're trying to build and get their things off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Give them some ideas. If you see something they may be able to improve on and do a little better to get more exposure, whatever, what have you. But yeah, we got to support each other a little more. Because I said at the end of the day, you know, we sit in this bottom position, you know, and it's a lot of it is because we lack support from each other. You know, sometimes we can get more support from somebody outside, somebody you don't even know, versus the folks that do know you and been knowing you for years, right? So no, that's a valid point, man. I want to make sure we highlight that, man. But like I said, shout out to all of the people, man, who have rocked with the platform, man. Like I said, we a small platform, but we are growing. We getting there. Like I said, we've been doing this for some years. Herschel's right. He's been here since we first got rocking. So yeah, I appreciate everybody who has been holding us down day in, day out. Like I said, the folks who be up here every Wednesday, the folks in the comments every Wednesday, you know, rain, sleet, or snow. Like, we got some folks who are holding us down just on some legit support, man. Like I said, we appreciate it. So I want to make sure I put that out there. All right, B-Box, it's on you, man. You want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, man, just to jump on what Herschel said, because it definitely resonates with me, even what Eva said in the comments. I, ever since I could, would try to support Black people in the smallest ways I could. I've always had a Black doctor. I typically go to like groups where, like, for fitness, where it's mostly black folks. Not all the time. Like my powerlifting trainer is a white guy. Like, because I'm not trying to like be like, oh, only Black people, that's it. But I think we have to, for the community to get where it needs to be, we have to have collective economics. Like, I mean, that's just simple. And I think that supporting each other, not trying to get a freebie from our people is because we're Black, because that's another issue too, where people, I've had friends who are business owners, and anytime Black folks come in, well, hey, hook me up. We gotta stop that too. That's a problem. You don't say that to white folks, so don't say it to me. We really got to shift our mindset on a lot of things on that front, and we have to also just be mindful as who we invite to the cookout, so to speak, as well. Because that first video is just emblematic of a problem I see, especially with Black men. You allow other races of people, especially women, to talk wherever they want to because you think she's attractive or whatever is going on. And at the end of the day, it's kind of dry simping in some ways. So we got to do better with that too, man. That's a big problem. But yeah, Herschel, I really appreciate what you just said before me. That really resonated with me.
I appreciate that closeout, man. JR, you want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, thank you once again for having me on. Great conversation as always. Yeah, everybody said obviously, you know, a lot there. And of course, obviously being over in the UK, of course, the algorithm, bloody hell, my English is gone now. Let me forget it. But yeah, whenever obviously I'm on YouTube or whatnot, and obviously one time you like just popped up, I think I just caught the replay and whatnot. And obviously can't tell the time over there, wherever it is, so I could never catch it live until the one time I think I was just up late and he was just live. So I just thought, you know what, let me just watch live, and then eventually hopped on and whatnot. But yeah, as always, great conversation. But I just wanted to ask, whereabouts in America are you lot from? Everybody on the panel.
So yeah, I'm up in I'm up in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a mixture. Yeah, Herschel, he Michigan too. Joe is Michigan. Yeah, so most of us, Vince, Michigan. Yeah, most of us in Michigan.
Okay.
We all usually say what New York, right? When foreigners ask us, we say, "Oh, New York." It's simpler. They don't know. They don't know Michigan, New York, because we're pretty much 2 hours away from New York.
Yeah, no, I've heard of Michigan as well.
I live in between Baltimore and DC, so I'm in the DMV.
Okay. Yeah,
don't play us like that. JR heard of Michigan.
But you know, it's true.
Right next to Canada, man. Right next to Canada.
You know Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. Now, because obviously I'm trying to come over there next year in the summer for obviously the World Cup and whatnot. So obviously you're just wondering where exactly to go, you know. So yeah, but obviously hopefully we meet up one day, you know.
But you want to come to America?
I've been out there a few times, you know, just something different to England. The weather's a lot better, of course. So, you know, obviously, you know, I was in Houston back in 2023. So I just
Okay.
done
Yeah.
Houston, and I was in Mexico, so I thought, you know what, I'll just do Mexico, Cancun, and then cross over to Houston, so cross the border quickly, and then fly back. So yeah, been there a couple of
Okay.
times and whatnot, but obviously be lovely to meet you like one time. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, no, I said I don't know how we sitting with Mexico right now. There's some stuff going on. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know how that's looking right now. We ain't
Not
touching
good
Mexico
friends,
right
man.
now. Some stuff going on right now. All right, Joe, it's on you, man. You got anything to say in closing, and we're gonna get on out of here.
Why are black people at the bottom? Well, there was a point in time when we weren't. There was a point in time when we were the most married uh, ethnicity or group in this country. There's a point in time when we had the Tulsas and the Black Wall Street and the one place in Florida, I forget what it's called. There was a time where we did have prosperity in this country. At this point, I'm about convinced we are at the bottom because we want to be. Because it's
Mm.
there's a narrative behind it. There's a there's a there's that we want to be underdogs and we want to constantly be underdogs, and that's the mindset. We know they keep stuff on her. The white man is on our neck. Yeah, okay, yeah, we have some issues. Everybody has issues. The Jews had issues. The Japanese had some issues here at one time. They were in internment camps. They seem to be doing okay. Even some of the Mexicans, they're having issues now, and a lot of them are doing okay. The Koreans, they have some issues, but they own nail salons and so on and so forth, wig shops and all this stuff. So it's like, well, why can't we just do a lot of the same things that we did before, like Chloe said earlier in the 60s, when we owned our own shops, owned our own businesses, the banks. I don't know if y'all saw that movie, The Banker. I thought that was a really one of the best movies that never got released on purpose,
Oh
by the
yeah.
way. But
Oh yeah.
that's an example of what we have done for many, many, many decades. So I'm not buying this narrative that we're being held down and Black Lives Matter because we don't have anything to complain about compared to them having dogs and fire hoses used on them back in the time when my parents and her parents were alive. So they had it harder, but somehow they thrived better. That doesn't make any sense to me. So why are black people at the bottom? It's because at this point we choose to be.
Okay. There it is. There it is. Appreciate that closeout, man. Well, I said we're gonna go on this rapid shut it on down, man. Shout out to my panel, Coco Herschel, Beatboxer, JR, Joe. Appreciate y'all hold me down. Vince was on here as well. Appreciate you, Vince. I know you had to hop off. Shout out to everybody in the comments as well. We appreciate you once again, you know what I'm saying, contributing to the conversation with your ideas and your perspectives. But man, this is Kandid Konvos, man. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We go live on YouTube and Facebook. So definitely, if you haven't already, smash that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that share as well. So we want to get these conversations out to as many of our people as possible, so that we can help change our trajectory. Yeah, because those simple things help a lot. Hitting that like button, I said it helps us in the algorithm and gets us circulating. Hitting that share, folks get to see, you know what I'm saying, see you live on the panel, so they want to click and view and see what's being talked about. All those little things help. Yeah, they don't cost you anything. So, man, like, share, and subscribe. But, man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we're going to catch you guys next Wednesday.